And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. You could be pretty much anywhere in the world, almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me. I definitely appreciate y'all for that. It's a whole lot going on all over the place. But before we talk about it, please hit that like button, hit the share button. And if you are a first-time viewer and/or for some reason you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe for me, please. And when you do subscribe, click that bell so you get notified whenever I go live and/or post a new video. Whole lot of stuff going on. Where do we begin? I guess the elephant in the room is Chaz, Chop, crack heroin, opiates, pills, crack heroin, amphetamine zone has recorded their first official fatality. Black man got shot and killed, allegedly. I say allegedly because it said that he was black. Maybe that's false, but I think that it's true. I've seen it been reported by multiple sources. It said he was black and the shooter was white. How did that happen in a safe space called Chaz? Huh? How did that happen in this space for Black Lives Matter and the anti-fascist, gracious white liberals? How did that happen at 2 o'clock in the morning? Where was the security force? Where was the Chaz police and the Chaz medics and the Chaz hospital? Where were they to protect this man? Where were they to stop the shooter from coming into this space and doing something to him? What happens when the next guy wants to come in there and shoot everybody up? What are they going to do? Who are they going to call? Ghostbusters? We'll talk about that and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And I thank y'all for joining. I really, really, really do appreciate you guys. Again, please hit that like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed already, and click the bell as well so you get notified when I'm going to post a new video. Also, if you're listening to me on an audio streaming platform, please give me a 5-star rating over there, review, share, whatever you can. This podcast you're listening to right now live on YouTube, if you are, will be available on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether that be Apple iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Anchor, Spotify. I'm everywhere. There's a link for the podcast specifically of this show in the description box below. It's linked for all kind of stuff. I got links for the flags. I got links for the hats. I got some more stuff. I'll be selling these mics soon enough as well, because these mics, I'm telling you, A1. I'll sell those soon enough, but for right now, everything I have is in the box. But there's a whole lot to get into, so let's tear straight into it. And again, thank you all for joining. There's a whole lot happening. I guess, like I said, the first thing would be Chaz, aka Chop. What's going on with that? Well, there's a whole lot going on with that. I mean, okay. Now, somebody got killed in the actual in the zone. Now, they're saying that this happened at 2 o'clock in the morning, right around that, in Freata, Washington, or excuse me, in the Chop Autonomous Zone, or whatever they want to call it. It happened there. And then there was another shooting about a half hour apart and about a block apart from the first incident that took place in the same space. You understand what I'm saying? So the first person died, and I think that he died because Chop did not allow him to get medical treatment. You understand? They did not allow him to get medical treatment. So the police came into the Chop. They were trying to get him, and they were like, nope, we don't want you to actually be in here. It was actually a pretty raucous crowd. They didn't want him to be there. Or not him, but the actual police. They didn't want the police to be there. So they rushed him out. And I don't know how long the guy was just on the ground bleeding to death before they took him to the hospital. But some people from inside the Chop took him to the hospital, and then they got him some treatment there. But unfortunately, he died as a result. So what's really going on with that? I don't know. Alrighty. But that is the long and short. Now, there's still nothing done from the governor or the mayor. The mayor still appears to be kind of like in denial for some reason, talking about, oh, well, you know, it's going to be the summer of love. It's not really this big deal. I'm not really sure how it's not a big deal. I mean, you have your entire you have your entire city under siege, not just Chop. It ain't just Capitol Hill. It's not just that. If you cannot control this area, what is to prevent them from going other places and doing the exact same thing that they have already done right there in Chop? They can go to a different precinct. They can go to the main police precincts and take over the 911 facilities. That'll cripple the whole city altogether. There's nothing done from the mayor level, from the governor level. Now, some are saying, hey, Trump, you should come out there, just, bring the troops. Let the troops just run on through. Maybe he could do that, but is that what he should be doing? Is that what he should be doing? I'm not really sure. Because if he does that, then the precedent that said is, if there's ever a problem, if there's ever an incident, if there's ever anything you can't really handle on a local level, or it's not being handled properly, you go send them. Now, if it gets to the point where you got these killings or these shootings happening a lot, people are really getting hurt seriously, then, what else can you do but send the federales? You have to. But in general, it's up to the local people to keep everything under control. They tried to set up a Chop spinoff in Portland, Oregon, surprisingly, and that got squashed instantly by the police. Right away, instantly. Then they tried to do one in Asheville, North Carolina, and that got stopped instantly as well. So if your local police just aren't doing their job, then that's on them. What can you really do if they're not really doing their job? It is what it is. Now, I see you guys asking me about the rally. If you want me to cover the rally, let me know. If you guys want me to cover the rally, let me know. If you want me just to keep on doing what I'm doing, you let me know. Because I know right now the rally's happening, but if you want me to cover that, let me know. And then I make a decision. But for right now, I'm going to just keep doing my thing here. And again, thank y'all for joining. Like I said, you could be anywhere, but you're right here. So that's fantastic. People are saying that Trump should, send in his troops, send in the military. But I don't think that's necessarily the proper thing to do. Okay. Now, I think not at this moment, not for now, but for Seattle, that they kind of like right on the fringe. Ken Cuccinelli, who I think at one point was in Virginia as a senator or a governor or something, he's part of the Trump administration. And he is saying that they're not quite ready to go ahead and pull the trigger. All right, let me see. Now, when is a rally actually starting? They're talking about it's at 8 o'clock Eastern, but is he on stage yet? It's funny. Some people are saying cover the rally. Some are saying do their own thing. How am I going to cover both? I'm not really sure how am I going to cover both. Okay, rally when Trump talks. Okay, that might be what I end up doing. Now, this is what I'm going to do here. Okay. I'm going to go to C-SPAN and kind of have that in the background so I can see when he comes on, and then I could just cover that. I can just cut in when he talks and then go back to just doing the show as normal. And then, of course, we'll have the calls afterwards, and then we'll just do it like regular, but I'll cut in when he comes on. Okay. But where was I at, actually? I think I was talking about, Chop and Chaz and whatnot. Now, people are saying that Trump should step in, but I'm not really sure that'd be the best idea, because if he does, then it's like, oh, Trump's a dictator. He's using his private military force to enforce his will. He's trying to suppress free speech, and then it'll be kind of used against us. Well, you guys are not really doing properly, and so I just don't know if he should be doing that right now. But we'll see. We'll definitely see if that is the case going forward here. So let me see. I'm reading some of the comments here. Now, I could have gone to the rally, actually. I could have gone to the rally. They were going to give me like preferred entry, but I didn't know that until like the last minute. I didn't know that I had preferred entry until when? I didn't know I had preferred entry until like the very last moment, like the very, very last, like I'm talking about at 12 p.m. at 12 a.m. like this morning. I didn't. That's when I found out that I had preferred entry. If I would have known that beforehand, then I probably could have, figured out a way to go to Tulsa and do that. But like I said, I didn't know until the very last minute. Shout out to my man. I ain't gonna say his name, so I don't want to. I probably can't say who got me the preferred entry, but shout out to you. You know who you are. Okay. But I think on the next Trump rally, I'm gonna try to get in. I'm not sure what the next one is. I think it might be in Florida. But whenever it is, I'm going to try to be there. All right. Let me see. Right Side Broadcasting. Shout out to Right Side Broadcasting. And Right Side Broadcasting, they my man Mike Magnificent, who you guys have seen on the show before, he is working with Right Side Broadcasting, so you'll probably see him. If you see Right Side Broadcasting like during rallies and whatnot, you'll probably see him, especially when he goes to Florida, because I think that's where Magnificent is at. All right, so right now, I think, hold on, I'm gonna just switch to this coverage right here. Let me see if I can do this. This is gonna be C-SPAN. Let me see if it'll let me do it. It should let me do it. It shouldn't be a problem. Okay, matter of fact, let's check. Let's try this here. Yeah, so okay, I got C-SPAN behind me, and we'll see if that works. Hopefully, they don't try to cut my stream. Yeah, so look at this. There he goes, right there. Look at that timing. Okay, I don't want to play the music because they're gonna try to flag it. But thank you all for joining. Definitely appreciate you guys. I'll cover Trump's speech since it's happening right now as we speak. And this is probably, I think, the first rally in how long? When was the last actual rally that Trump had? You talking about some months ago? A long time. You had these virtual things and whatnot, but I think this is going to be the first talk that he's had in front of a crowd. Okay. Yeah, the crowd is thin inside. That might be because of restrictions inside the actual place, but outside, the crowd is jumping. I'm talking about jumping. Yeah, it's crazy outside. But you see, like, it's thin because you have limited. It's like you can't be like too close together. You kind of close, but not that close. So when you have less space in between, when you have more space in between people, you have less people inside the actual place. And the sound over here is off because I got the music on and I don't want to get flagged for that. So I got to bear with me. And if at a certain point after he starts talking, the sound is weird, let me know. But right now the sound is off because of the music in the background playing. Alrighty. But yeah, it's been a while since the last actual rally. I'm thinking, I think at least about 3 months, maybe more. Let me see. Now, is there a protest out here too? I have audio. It's just I have it off right now because they're singing the song, and I don't want to get copyright strike on the song. Because even though it's not actually a track playing of a person singing, the guy that's singing that is close to what the song is, so it'll register as me taking copyright, basically, if that makes any sense. Alrighty. So there we have it. Hopefully the sound is good. I'm gonna try to make sure that we get the.
Thank you.
I'm gonna refresh right quick just to make sure the quality is straight. Let's try that. And the reason I'm on C-SPAN is because
President Mike Pence,
I know that it won't get straight.
we begin our campaign. We begin our campaign, and I just want to thank all of you. You are warriors. I've been watching the fake news for weeks now, and everything is negative. Don't go, don't come, don't do anything. Today it was like, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it. You are warriors. Thank you. We had some very bad people outside. They were doing bad things. But I really do. I appreciate it. We have just a tremendous group of people in Oklahoma. And I hear from your two great senators and your governor that we're doing very well in Oklahoma. That's the word. I stand before you today to declare the silent majority is stronger than ever before. 5 months from now, we're going to defeat Sleepy Joe Biden. Boy, does he get a pass from these people, huh? We're going to stop the radical left. We're going to build a future of safety and opportunity for Americans of every race, color, religion, and creed. Republicans are the party of liberty, equality, and justice for all. We are the party of Abraham Lincoln, and we are the party of law and order. Think of what we've done. We will have close to 300 federal judges appointed and approved by the end of my first time. That's an all-time record. I've always heard how important judges are. Now we know how important they are. Think of that, over 300, around 300 by the end of the term. And when we have another 4 years, we're going to have a big, big percentage of the total number. Very important. November 3rd. And 2 great Supreme Court judges. So we have 2 justices of the Supreme Court. Justice Gorsuch, Justice Kavanaugh. They're great.
Gorsuch, got to tighten up, sir.
We have 2. And we could get a few more. Yeah, we could get a few more. We've spent over $2 trillion to completely rebuild the unmatched strength and power of the United States military. And all of that incredible equipment, whether it's submarines or missiles or rockets or jet fighters, bombers, it's all built in the USA. We passed VA choice. Thank you very much, Jim. Where's my senator? Jim Inhofe. You better vote for him. He's running. He's great. But we'll get to him and James Lankford in a second. 2 great senators. You have 2 great senators. So we passed VA choice. So if you're a veteran, for years and years, they've wanted to do it for almost 50 years. We got it done. We get a lot of things done. And so if you're a veteran and you have to wait online for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 7 weeks, 2 months, what happens is you go outside, you get a private doctor, you get fixed up, and they pay your bill. We take care of the bill. And you get immediate service. It's never happened before. And our approval rating at the VA is now 91%. That's how good it is. Never been anywhere near that number.
Very good.
Never been anywhere near that number. And VA accountability. We had a lot of bad people in the VA. People that didn't love our vets. People that were sadistic. People that stole. A lot of bad people. You couldn't get rid of them because they were, let's say it could be unions, it could be civil service, right? Let's just say. And so you couldn't get it done. That was another one. For decades and decades, they wanted to get it changed. And I got it done with those people and your congressman, who I'm going to introduce. VA accountability, and now somebody treats our veterans badly. And we look at them, and what do we say? We say, you're fired. Get out, right? Get out. They got rid of a lot of bad people that were there for a long time, sort of like me in Washington, draining the swamp. I never knew it was so deep, but it's happening. It's happening. I never knew it was so deep. It's deep and thick and a lot of bad characters. Thank you. We're lowering the price of prescription drugs, making our allies pay their fair share. They get a big bargain on drug prices, and enacting fair trade deals that finally, after all these years, put America first. I've been saying it for a long time. We passed the largest tax cuts in the history of our country. The Democrats want to raise your taxes. Tell me about that. Tell me about that. I guess I'm old-fashioned. You know, all my life, I heard politicians want to lower taxes, not raise them. If you could lower them, you couldn't lose. The Democrats want to substantially raise your taxes. How do you figure that? How do you figure that? And regulation cuts, we passed more regulation cuts than any administration in the history of our country. And with the help of our great energy workers, many of them come from the great state of Oklahoma. Do you ever notice that Biden oftentimes gets the state wrong? He's in Iowa, and he says, it's good to be in Idaho. No, you're in Iowa. He's in New Hampshire, and he says, it's great to be in Ohio. No, you're in New Hampshire. That happens to him all the time. Hasn't happened to me yet. You know, when that happens, there's nothing you can do to make up for it. You might as well just walk off the stage because the speech is a disaster. Good. Right? But we just turned the United States into the dominant energy superpower of the world. And because of the Chinese virus, what happened about 3 months ago, it looked like we were in big trouble, and we were, and I got it back together. I called Russia. I called Russia. I called Saudi Arabia. And believe it or not, I called Mexico. Mexico was a little bit tough. That's called OPEC Plus. Did you ever hear of OPEC Plus? That's OPEC plus plus. And we got them to do the right thing, and we have our energy back to up almost $40 a barrel, meaning you have an energy business again. Almost $40 a barrel. A couple of months ago, it was zero, and we were going to lose 10 million energy jobs, 10 million jobs. So Texas and Oklahoma and North Dakota and many other states would have been hurt. Now, you think you're going to be hurt there? You try putting AOC in charge of your energy. That will make the pandemic look like child's play to the people in energy. She has one problem. It's called petroleum. No president or administration has done more in the first 3.5 years than the Trump administration. Not even Trump. Nobody. Our incredible success in rebuilding America stands in stark contrast to the extremism and destruction and violence of the radical left. We just saw it outside. You just saw it outside. You saw these thugs that came along. These people call them protesters. Isn't it beautiful? It's so beautiful. No, they're so wonderful. They call them the Boston Tea Party. They're so wonderful. Yeah, they call them. You ever watch fake news CNN? You ever watch where they go? How about the CNN anchor? How about the CNN anchor? You know, did a little shave job in the head, which is fine. And he's standing in front of a building saying things are very peaceful here. And the building is, it looks like the biggest fire I've ever seen. The whole town is burning. It's like the biggest fire. And he said, things are very good here, Anderson. I think it's good. I think it's good. He's a wonderful people, Anderson. You ever see that? Looked like the world was coming to an end. And you know, we did something in Minneapolis. After watching for 3 or 4 days, I called. I said, you got to get out. You can't protect yourselves. I got them to take 8,000 National Guardsmen. And in 1 hour, it all ended. And they rode through the next 3 weeks with no problem. And we did the same thing in other cities. But how about Seattle? Isn't that great?
Let's talk about it, Trump. Let's talk about it right now. Seattle. What are we going to do?
They take over a big chunk of a city called Seattle. I mean, we're not talking about some little place. We're talking about Seattle. Have you ever been to Seattle? They took over a big chunk, and the governor, who's radical left, all of these places I talk about are Democrat. You know that. Every one of them. Every one of them. And I have an offer out. I said, anytime you want, we'll come in, we'll straighten it out in 1 hour or less. Now, I may be wrong, but it's probably better for us to just watch that disaster.
Well, you could watch it.
I flew in with
what are you
some
gonna
of
do?
our great congressmen who we're going to introduce in a second, and I said to him, Congressman, what do you think? I can straighten it out fast. Should we just go in? No, sir. Let it simmer for a little while. Let people see what radical left Democrats will do to our country. Right? But Americans have watched left-wing radicals burn down buildings, loot businesses, destroy private property, injure hundreds of dedicated police officers. These police officers, they get injured. They don't complain. They're incredible. And injure thousands upon thousands of people only to hear the radical fake news say what a beautiful rally it was. Talk about COVID. They don't talk about when you see 25,000 people walking down Fifth Avenue or walking down a street of a Democrat-run city. You never hear them saying they're not wearing their mask. You don't hear them saying, as they're breaking windows and running in, and then when I say the looters, the anarchists, the agitators, they say, what a terrible thing for our president to say. What a terrible thing. But you don't hear them talking about COVID. COVID. To be specific, COVID-19. That name gets further and further away from China as opposed to calling it the Chinese virus.
Call it what it is, Chinese virus.
And despite the fact that I have done a phenomenal job with it.
That's hilarious.
Shut down the United States to very heavily infected, but all people from China in late January, which is months earlier than other people would have done it, if they would have done it at all. I said, hundreds of thousands of lives. We don't ever get even a mention. Then I closed it down to Europe early. Closed it down because I saw what was happening. And by the way, most people said, don't do it. Don't do it. We saved hundreds of thousands of lives. And all we do is get hit on like we're terrible. And what we've done with the ventilators and with the medical equipment and with testing, you know, testing is a double-edged sword. We've tested now 25 million people. It's probably 20 million people more than anybody else. Germany's done a lot. South Korea's done a lot. They call me, they say, the job you're doing, here's the bad part. When you do testing to that extent, you're gonna find more people, you're gonna find more cases. So I said to my people, slow the testing down, please. They test and they test. We got tests that people don't know what's going on. We got tests. We got another one over here. The young man's 10 years old. He's got the sniffles. He'll recover in about 15 minutes. That's a case. Add up to it. That's a case. That's a case.
That's facts. That's big facts. Recover in 15 minutes. That's facts.
I was actually with a very nice man, very good man, even though he's very liberal, the governor of New Jersey, right? We know him? Now listen, he said to me something that's amazing. New Jersey was very heavily hit, very hard hit, thousands of people. He said with thousands of people that died, thousands of people, there was only one person that died under the age of 18. Would you believe that? Which tells me one thing, that kids are much stronger than us.
Exactly. Everybody knows that.
When you see a little kid running around, say, boy, oh boy, do you have a great immune system. How about a piece of your immune system? They don't even know about this. Let's open the schools, please. Open.
For real. I mean, what are we doing? Let's get back to life. This virus is not going to
open the schools.
Stop life.
We got to get them open. In the fall, we got to get them open. The unhinged left-wing mob is trying to vandalize our history, desecrate our monuments, our beautiful monuments, tear down our statues, and punish, cancel, and persecute anyone who does not conform to their demands for absolute and total control. We're not conforming. That's why we're here, actually. This cruel campaign of censorship and exclusion violates everything we hold dear as Americans. They want to demolish our heritage so they can impose their new oppressive regime in its place. They want to defund and dissolve our police departments. Think of that.
Can't do that.
And I heard it for the first time 2 weeks ago. I said, well, that one, I mean, they're only kidding. I said, they're not. Minneapolis, you see what's going on? They're not kidding. They got a lot of problems. They'll have a lot of problems. Hey, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and a very tough, you know, I've used the word on occasion, hombre. A very tough hombre is breaking into the window of a young woman whose husband is away as a traveling salesman or whatever he may do. And you call 911, and they say, I'm sorry, this number is no longer working. By the way, you have many cases like that, many, whether it's a young woman, an old woman, a young man, or an old man, and you're sleeping. So what are you going to do, right? So they want to defund. They really do. This is a serious movement. And in Minneapolis, the council's already passed it. In Seattle, you see what's going on there. It's even worse, okay? These people are stone cold crazy. They're crazy. So if you want to save your heritage, you want to save that beautiful heritage of ours. We have a great heritage. We're a great country. You are so lucky I'm president. That's all I can tell you.
It's packed in there. Look at that. Look at the pain. It's packed. Up there it's empty though. But outside is packed.
People have come up to me and say, how do you take it? I say, do I have a choice? Do I have a choice? We deal with a lot of bad people, but we're winning. And every once in a while, I'll have one of these days where I'm hit left and right, like even this great event. What if you could have seen outside, or if you could have heard the reports, oh, it's COVID, it's this, by the way, it's a disease, without question, has more names than any disease in history. I can name Kung Flu, I can name 19 different versions of names.
Kung Flu, let's get it.
Many call it a virus, which it is. Many call it a flu, what difference? I think we have 19 or 20 versions of the name. But they say to me, where do you get the energy? I say, I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. You know, it was interesting to show you how fake they are. You might have seen it. So last week they called me and they say, sir, West Point, we're ready. I said, oh, that's right. I have to make the commencement speech at West Point. You know, they delayed it for 6 weeks because of COVID. So they delayed it, and I went there. 1,106 cadets were graduated, and beautiful. Right? Beautiful cadets. So this is just to show you how bad the fake news is. So they say to me, sir, we're ready to go. I say, let's go. This is after saying hello to a lot of cadets, inspecting little areas of a building that was very exciting. Actually, it's beautiful, very old. Studied a lot of our great generals, some of our presidents that went there. West Point is beautiful, right on the Hudson River. But after an hour, general that runs it is a fantastic guy. After an hour, we land. We do some more inspections, and they say, sir, are you ready? Yes, I am. So we walk like the equivalent of about 3 blocks, which was fine. We go on stage, which is fine. They make speeches, then I make a speech that lasted a long time. I don't know, maybe 45 minutes, maybe longer. I don't know, but a long time. The sun is pouring down on me, okay? But they said to me before the speech, sir, would you like to salute each cadet, each single cadet, or maybe they'll be in groups of 2. Would you like to salute like this? Yes. Like this. Almost 600 times. You know what that is? 600 times! Thank God they were in 2s. Because let me tell you, you do that 600 times, you go home and you say, it's like a workout without a weight, right? 600 times. So I did that. Then the incredible helicopters, brand new, gorgeous helicopters, the Apaches and the other new ones that we just bought. So they fly over. And the kids throw the hats in the air. It's beautiful, it really is. And it was a beautiful day. And we're all finished. I was on the stage for hours. Hours! Sun, I came home, I had a nice tan. meaning I had a nice sunburn.
Orange man bad.
Going right like that. But I make this speech, right? I salute for probably an hour and a half, maybe more, but around that. Watch, if I'm off by 2 minutes, I'll say, he exaggerated. It was only an hour and 25 minutes. He exaggerated, he lied, he's a liar. These people are sick, the fake news. So then, I finished saluting my final salute. I said, thank goodness, thank you very much. But think of it, so essentially almost 600 times. Now, the general says, sir, are you ready? I said, I'm ready, General. Where are we going now? You have to understand, I left early in the morning to get there. Now it's sort of late in the afternoon. A lot of these fakers were with us, so they know. He said, sir, we can now leave the stage. I said, great, General, let's go. I'll follow you. And he goes like this, right here, sir. I'll walk on. And the stage was higher than this one. And the ramp was probably 10 yards long. I say, General, now you gotta understand, I have the whole Corps of Cadets looking at me. And I want them to love their president. I did this big thing. I love them, I love them. They're incredible, and they do. I said, General, I've got myself a problem, General. Because I'm wearing leather bottom shoes, which is good if you're walking on flat surfaces. It's not good for ramps. And if I fall down, look at all those press back there, look at that.
Yeah, that would have been terrible if you fell.
And this was a steel ramp. You all saw it, because everybody saw it. This was a steel ramp. It had no handrail. It was like an ice skating rink. And I said, General, I have a problem. And he didn't understand that at first. I said, there's no way. You understood? I just saluted almost 600 times. I just made a big speech. I sat for other speeches. I'm being baked. I'm being baked like a cake. I said, General, there's no way I can make it down that ramp without falling on my ass, General. I have no railing. True. It's true. So I said, is there like something else around? Sir, the ramp is ready to go. Grab me, sir. Grab me. I didn't really want to grab him. You know why? Because I said, that'll be a story too.
And it was.
So now I have a choice. I can stay up there for another couple of hours and wait till I'm rescued. Or I can go down this really steep, really, it's an ice skating rink. It's brutal. So I said, General, get ready, because I may grab you so fast. Because I can't fall with the fake news watcher. If I fall, I remember when President Ford fell out of the plane, you remember? I remember when another president, nice man, threw up in Japan. And they did slow motion replays.
Wow.
Right? It's true. I don't want that, General. Now he's standing there, big strong guy, and he's got these shoes, but they're loaded with rubber on the bottom.
Oh, man.
Because I looked, the first thing I did, I looked at his shoes. Then I looked at mine. Very, very slippery. So I end up saying, okay, General, let's go. I will only grab you if I need you. That's not a good story. Falling would be a disaster. It turned out to be worse than anything. I would have been better off if I fell and slid down the damn ramp. Right? So what happens is I start the journey inch by inch, right? And I was really bent over, too. I didn't like that, you know. I didn't like this picture. This picture, I'm sure, will be an ad by the fakers. So I was bent over, right? And I'm going like this. And then we finally reached almost the end. And the fake news, the most dishonest human beings, they cut it off. You know why? Because when I was 10 feet short, I said, General, I'm sorry, and I ran down the rest, right? I looked very handsome. That was the only good thing. I wouldn't want to run down the whole thing because the fall there would be definitely bad. So I took these little steps. I ran down the last 10. And by the way, their tape, take a look. In almost every instance, it ends just before I run. And they said, here was the #1 trending story. I called my wife. I said, how good was that speech? I thought it was hey, look, I will tell you when I make good ones and bad ones. Like so far tonight, I'm average. Okay? But we're having fun. We're having fun. So far tonight. But I called my wife and I said, how good was it, darling? She said, you're trending #1. I said to our great First Lady, I said, let me ask you a question. Was it that good, the speech, that I'm trending #1? Because I felt it was really good. No, they don't even mention the speech. They mentioned the fact that you may have Parkinson's disease. It's true. It's true. They say there's something wrong with our president. I'll let you know if there's something wrong, okay? I'll let you know if there's something. I'll tell you what, there's something wrong with Biden, that I can tell you.
That's a fact. That's big facts.
So then my wife said, well, it wasn't only the ramp. Did you have water? I said, yeah. I was speaking for a long time. I didn't want to drink it, but I wanted to wet my lips a little bit. You know, you're working hard up there with the sun pouring down on you. I love this location. The sun's like this. This way they save on lighting, right? That's why they did it probably. So what happens is I said, what does it have to do with water? They said, you couldn't lift your hand up to your mouth with water. I said, I just saluted 600 times like this. And this was before I saluted. So what's the problem? She said, well, I know what you did. You had on a very good red tie that's sort of expensive. It's silk because they look better. They have a better sheen to them. And I don't want to get water on the tie. And I don't want to drink much. So I lifted up the water. I see we have a little glass of water. Where the hell did this water come from? Right? Where did it come from? And I looked down on my tie, because I've done it. I've taken water, and it spills down into your tie. It doesn't look good for a long time. And frankly, the tie is never the same. So I put it up to my lip, and then I say, because I don't want it to, just in case. And they gave me another disease. They gave me another disease.
Like a stand-up comedy. It's what I'm watching right now. This guy's wild. That's all. This guy's wild.
Anyway, that's a long story, but here's the story. I have lived with more the ramp than the water, but I've lived with the ramp and the water since I left West Point. Not one media group said I made a good speech or I made a great speech. But the kids loved it because they broke their barrier, which wasn't good in terms of COVID. but they broke their barrier and they wanted to shake hands. They wanted to, and I don't want to tell anybody, but there were a couple of kids they put at the end. I actually shook their hand, okay? I actually shook it. Because they were excited. They were excited. They're with their president. They were excited. The most beautiful young people, men, women, the most beautiful young people you've ever seen. So think of how you feel, you me. I go there. How did I do? Sir, that was a great speech. You know, all my people, sir, that was one of your best. That was great. I said, that's great. I agree. It was a good speech. I like that speech. They don't mention the speech, but they have me going down this ramp at an inch at a time. It's so unfair. It really is. So unfair. They are among the most dishonest people anywhere on earth. They're bad people. Bad people. Okay, that's enough of that. I wanted to tell that story. Does everybody understand that story? The left-wing anarchists tore down a statue of Thomas Jefferson. Now we're getting into the real stuff.
Talk about it. Let's talk about it.
They decapitated a statue of Christopher Columbus, except in New York when the Italians surrounded it. They didn't have too much of a chance. Those Italians, I love the Italians. They heard they were going to rip down their beautiful Christopher Columbus, and all of a sudden they circled that thing. They didn't do too well in hurting Christopher, did they? Thank you to our Italian population. We're very proud of you, right?
Shout out to the Italians.
2 days ago, leftist radicals in Portland, Oregon, ripped down a statue of George Washington.
Terrible.
And wrapped it in an American flag and set the American flag on fire. Democrat, all Democrat. Everything I tell you is Democrat. And you know, we ought to do something, Mr. Senators. We have two great senators. We ought to come up with legislation that if you burn the American flag, you go to jail for 1 year. 1 year.
Yeah, let's do something. You know, legislation. Come on, let's, you know, because it'll keep on going. Oh, but my freedom of speech. We'll hear that.
Jim and James, we ought to do it. You know, they talk about freedom of speech, and I'm a big believer in freedom of speech, but that's desecration. That's a terrible thing they do. We used to have things. We don't have them anymore because we want to be so open, so everything, and look what happens. We should have legislation that if somebody wants to burn the American flag and stomp on it, but just burn it, they go to jail for 1 year, okay? In Seattle, the Democrat mayor and the Democrat city council have surrendered control of 6 city blocks to an anarchist mob. These are anarchists. These are not protesters. You listen to the fake news, they say, oh, the protesters were lovely. Could you imagine if people just even slightly to the right tried to take over Seattle? They'd have machine guns out to get them.
That's facts.
But these people can take over the city. Look at what they've done to business people that have spent years and years building their business, and now they're wiped out. Take it away. Governor Inslee ought to get his act together, get in there. I'll help you. I'll do whatever you want. I'm waiting for a call. I would love to do it. I would love to do it. It'll take less than an hour, and it'll all be over with, and you'll have your city back.
Come on, Inslee. Let's do it, Inslee. Gotta do something. Let's get cracking.
And yet Biden remains silent in his basement in the face of this brutal assault on our nation and the values of our nation. Joe Biden has surrendered to his party and to the left-wing mob. He has no control. Does anybody honestly think he controls these radical maniacs? You know what he says to his wife when he's not confusing her with his sister? Get me the hell out of here. These people are crazy. That's what he says. He has absolutely no control. You know, a lot of times I'll make like a speech, and I'll have this beautiful paragraph come out criticizing every little aspect of the speech. Beautiful, brilliant. But Joe didn't. And it'll say, a comment from Joe Biden. But he didn't say it. Professional people, great students in English lit, people that are very smart say it. Joe Biden said, and they'll go into this highly complex paragraph, beautifully worded, and I say, Joe didn't say that. Joe doesn't even understand it. And if Biden is elected, he will surrender your country to these mobsters 100%. Your 401ks, by the way, look at how we're doing in the stock market. Just set another record with NASDAQ. Your 401ks and money itself will be worthless. Your 401ks are doing very well, unless, I don't want to say, if you were stupid, I said, don't sell, don't sell. It went down, but we got it back up. And now NASDAQ, think of it, NASDAQ just set a record, and I think you're going to see a lot of records. And next year, if we don't do anything stupid on November 3rd, you are going to have the greatest economic year we've ever had. That'll be next year. If the Democrats gain power, then the rioters will be in charge, and no one will be safe, and no one will have control. Joe Biden is not the leader of his party. Joe Biden is a helpless puppet of the radical left.
Wow, helpless puppet. That was deep, but real.
And he's not radical left. I don't think he knows what he is anymore. But he was never radical left. But he's controlled by the radical left, and now he's really controlled. His campaign staff even donated a lot of money to bail out rioters, looters, and arsonists who ravaged Minneapolis. They bailed them out. They put up a lot of money to bail them out, the rioters, the looters. And they were the arsonists. So they'll say, oh, it's terrible what he says about the people of our nation. Maybe some of them aren't even from our nation. The left is trying to do everything they can to stop us. Every hour of every day, including even violence and mayhem, they'll do anything they can to stop us. Look what happened tonight. Look at what happened tonight. Law enforcement said, sir, they can't be outside, it's too dangerous. We had a bunch of maniacs come and sort of attack our city. The mayor and the governor did a great job, but they were very violent people. And our people are not nearly as violent, but if they ever were, it would be a terrible, terrible day for the other side. Because I know our people. I know our people. But we will never submit to their threats, and we will never let them destroy our nation. What they did tonight, I saw it on television coming in on Air Force One. One thing about Air Force One, we got plenty of televisions. We have televisions in closets. You open up the closet, got a television. We got a lot of televisions. It's a great plane, great everything. By the way, we ordered new ones. No president wanted to do it. They thought it was luxury. I said, wait a minute. Air Force One is 31 years old. People don't realize that. So I said, they gave me a chart very early in my administration, like, how about the first week? Sir, would you sign for this plane? Now, it's actually two planes. Would you sign for this plane? Air Force One. I said, how old is the original or the one we have now? Sir, it's 31, 32 years. And I'd see people coming in from foreign lands that can't compete with us. Rich countries, but they can't compete with you. And they have a brand new, beautiful 747-800, 747. And I said, wait a minute, that country has new and we have a 31 years, so somebody had to do it. So the deal was made, and it was made for a lot of money. I think it was $5.7 or $5.6 billion. Now, in all fairness, it's two planes, and there's a lot of stuff in those planes. I won't talk to you about it. So I told Boeing, the head of Boeing, they said, Sir, please, would like to get started on the planes. I said, I do too, but I'm not paying $5.6 billion. And I'm not paying $4.6 billion. I said, it has to have a 3 on the front of it. I mean, that's a hell of a lot of money too, but it is a rather complex situation. They said, no way, no way. This was before Boeing had problems, by the way. But Boeing's coming back. They're coming back. The greatest company in the world, and it had some big problems. It had a couple of problems that didn't work out. That was terrible. But the greatest, I think before that, it was the greatest company in the world. It made up 1/4 of a point of our GDP. Think how big that is, one company. It was an unbelievable machine. And then they made a plane, and they did some foolish things, and a terrible thing happened, and all of a sudden, they've gone through hell. But you know what? They're coming back. We're ready to help them if they need it, but they're coming back, and they're coming back strong. But this was the Boeing before that, and they were riding high, and like I was before this thing came in. But we're still riding high, because you know what? On November 3rd, we're going to win. We're going to win. So they came in, and they said, no, we won. No, we 5.6 billion, whatever it was. If I'm a little bit off, they'll go crazy, you know. Whatever. But it was a lot. 5.6 billion. Nope, got to have a 3. Got to have a 3. Call me up. Nope, cancel the contract. I said, cancel the contract. I want to cancel. I said, General, can you cancel the contract? He said, yes, sir. I'm very proud of it. Oh, good. Cancel it. Okay, sir. By the way, to cancel it, do you have to pay anything? Yes, sir. We have a cancellation fee, sir. How much is it, General? $250 million, sir. I said, what? Sir, we made a good deal. $250 million to cancel. You mean if we don't buy the plane, we have to hand them $250 million? That's not good, right? Look at these two guys. They're looking. By the way, that's like a good story compared to some I could tell you, like with aircraft carriers. So they said $250 million, or I always say this, or around that number, because I'm off by a little bit. They say, oh, he exaggerates. I look at numbers all day long. That's what I look at for years now, for my whole life when you think of it. $250 million cancellation fee, sir. He was very proud of himself.
Oh, wow, cancellation fee. Imagine that.
I say, General, don't cancel. Don't cancel. Just tell him I don't want the planes. Don't put anything in writing. Don't put it in writing, General. Why, sir? Because I don't want to pay $250. True. Do you hear that, Jim? Jim Inhofe, he's great. You hear that, Jim? You know that story. He does a great job. So here's what happened, the bottom line. Boeing says, no way, no way, no way. The next week they say, no way we're doing it. The next week they said, how about $5 billion? I said, no way, no way. The next week they said, 4.8. I said, nope, it's got to have a 3 on the front of it. Don't you understand, you dumb son of a bitch? Don't you understand?
just let it all hang out, man. Forget it. Just.
I turned out to be right, you know. Turned out to be right. Nobody gets that? No, got to have a 3. Next day, they come back. 4.5 is our best offer. Nope, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Come back when you're ready. A month goes by, another month, they never heard about it. They never heard from me. They thought I was serious. I was. And they came back at $4 billion. That's a lot of money. But I saved like $1.6 billion or $1.7 billion. Nobody wants to talk about it.
That's a lot of money you save.
Nobody wants to talk about it. When I get foreign nations to pay us billions and billions of dollars, nobody wants to talk about that. When I take soldiers out of countries because they're not treating us properly, Germany is an example. I mean, I have a German heritage, like some of you. I said, let's get it down from 50,000 to 25,000, because They're delinquent. For many years, they're delinquent. They haven't been paying what they're supposed to be paying. They're paying 1% instead of 2%, and 2% is a very low number. And they say, yes, we think by 2030, maybe 2032, we could get current. I said, no, Angela. Angela, please. Don't say that, Angela. It's true. You know who I'm talking about. Nice, by the way, very nice woman, very good negotiator. I said, Angela, that's a long time. This was in 2019. She said 2032. I said, no, Angela, that's not working. But I said, what about, because now they want to get current, but I said, well, what about the last 25 years, all the money you owe us? Everybody forgot about that. They forget about all the money that wasn't paid. I said, what about the $1 trillion that you really owe? So we're negotiating, let's see. But in the meantime, we're reducing our troops. Remember this, remember this. We're supposed to protect Germany from Russia. But Germany is paying Russia billions of dollars for energy coming from a pipeline, brand new pipeline. So they pay the country we're supposed to protect them from, they pay billions of dollars to that country. We're supposed to protect them. Excuse me, how does that work? How does that work? And the great thing is with Jim Inhofe and with James Lankford, likewise, when they just said they love you, James. When they hear it, they get it. A lot of people don't get it. They get it. We cannot continue to be ripped off. We're ripped off by so many countries, and we're stopping it. And that means that a lot of people don't want me here. They don't want me here. There are a lot of people that don't want me here. You know, they don't sell a lot of bombs when we're not dropping bombs on people, you know.
Uh-oh. Talk about that.
Military-industrial complex. When rioting and looting broke out in our nation's capital, I very quickly deployed the National Guard. I said, get them in. After watching for an evening or two, we stopped the violence and restored peace and order to the streets. And last night they had a little breakout again. They ripped down a statue that was 110 years old, beautiful piece of art, in front of the police precinct, with our radical left mayor watching on television. We're not happy. That's going to be very expensive for D.C. They're always looking for money. We need more money. We always need more money. And then they don't do the proper job. So it's not going to be good for Mayor Bowser. Mayor Bowser. They were heading over to the Jefferson Memorial recently. And they wanted to do damage to our great, beautiful Jefferson Memorial. Not going to happen. Don't worry about it. We have it surrounded with very strong people. The choice in 220 is very simple. Do you want to bow before the left-wing mob, or do you want to stand up tall and proud as Americans? And explain this to the NFL. I like the NFL. I like Roger Goodell, but I didn't like what he said a week ago. I said, where did that come from in the middle of the summer? Nobody's even asking. We will never kneel to our national anthem or our great American flag. We will stand proud and we will stand tall. I thought we won that battle with the NFL. Their stadiums were emptying out. Did you see those stadiums? Took them a long time to get you back. A lot of people didn't like that. You know, a lot of people that you wouldn't even think would care that much. I've had people that I said, these are super left liberals, and they didn't like it. Joe Biden and the Democrats want to prosecute Americans for going to church, but not for burning a church. They believe you can riot, vandalize, and destroy, but you cannot attend a peaceful pro-America rally. They want to punish your thought, but not their violent crimes. They want to abolish bail, abolish and open up your borders. They want open borders, let everyone, and by the way, we're doing so well. We have a record this month on the borders. Nobody's coming in. Very few people. And they want to abolish ICE, our great people from ICE who send the roughest, toughest, meanest people that you've ever seen or ever heard. Generally speaking, when they have lots of tattoos on their face, they're not looking to do you much help. ICE, they're rough guys, they're rough, they're great Americans, they're rough, but they'll walk into, they call them a pack. They'll walk into a pack of tough MS-13 gang members. And you know, we shouldn't say this, it's not nice. They want us to negotiate. They start swinging, and the others start swinging. Everybody's swinging. At the end, they carry them back, and they throw them into the paddy wagon, right? They're great. And these people want to get rid of ICE. They get rid of murderers. They get rid of rapists. They get rid of the worst scum on earth. And when I called them animals, I said they're animals, and Nancy Pelosi, they cut up a young woman. They cut up a young woman, and her friend cut him up with a knife because it was more painful, dead. Cut him up with a knife because it's more painful, takes longer than shooting a gun. They cut him up. I said, these are animals. And Nancy Pelosi said, these are human beings, they're not animals. If I lose an election over that, you know what? This country's in big trouble. Big trouble. They want to disarm law-abiding citizens and dismantle our police forces while freeing vicious MS-13 gang members. In Joe Biden's America, rioters, looters, and criminal aliens have more rights than law-abiding citizens, and that's true. In my administration, we defend American citizens, and we deport MS-13 members. Or put them in jail if we have to. The chaos you're seeing in our Democratic-run cities, these are all run by the Democrats, is what will happen in every city and community in America, and much, much worse if we don't keep them out. We have to do this. We have to go to the polls on November 3rd, and the rest, you know what to do. You know what to do. Got to keep the White House. Joe Biden's record can be summed up as 4 decades of betrayal, calamity, and failure. He never did anything. He was a senator, he was a vice president, he was before that something. Guy, you know what's great? President Trump was tough on this, or he was tough. They complained. Never did anything about it. He's been there for 43 years or 47 years. He never did anything about it. Biden supported every globalist attack on the American worker. Let's make every country in the world rich but ourselves, including NAFTA, the disaster of NAFTA. He wanted to go, and TPP would have ruined our automobile industry. Korea, I renegotiated the deal. I took a horrible deal. That was a Hillary Clinton special. That was a Hillary Clinton special. She said, we have to make this deal with South Korea. It's going to mean 250,000 jobs. And she was right. For South Korea, 250,000 jobs. And China's entry into the World Trade Organization was supported by Sleepy Joe Biden. That was one of the worst deals economically in the history of our country. When China joined the World Trade Organization, they were flatlined for decades. They became like a rocket ship. He voted for the war in Iraq. He voted for mass amnesty for illegal aliens. He supports sanctuary cities, and now Biden wants to end immigration enforcement and he wants to require you to provide free health care for millions and millions of illegal aliens.
Can't do it. No way. No way, Jose.
When I took early and decisive action to ban travel from China and protect Americans from the virus, and as I said, Joe Biden opposed my decision and called it hysteria, xenophobia. He doesn't know what the word means, xenophobia, and fear-mongering. And then he apologized a month later. He said he was wrong, but he didn't say it, and they didn't cover it. They didn't cover it. On one of the single most important policy decisions of our lifetime, Joe Biden sided with China over America. That's closing the border. He thought it was a terrible thing. Remember, this was in January. That's early, real early, the end of January. He thought it was a terrible thing when we closed the border to many people that were badly infected with COVID. When the chips are down, Biden will always cave to the radical left. He'll always bow to the angry mob, and he will never protect you or your family, and you know that. Joe Biden will always let you down. That's been his history. At my direction early this year, the heroes of the U.S. military took out the world's top terrorist, the savage killer and leader of ISIS, al-Baghdadi, and the #1 terrorist anywhere in the world, Qasem Soleimani. We took him out. Joe Biden opposed killing Soleimani. He was vehemently, we killed this #1 terrorist. He didn't like it. You know why he didn't like it? Because he thought it would be good politically. That didn't work out too well. Just as he opposed the raid that killed Osama bin Laden. He opposed it. You know that. Biden is always on the wrong side of history, as said by people that are with him and worked with him. He never made a correct foreign policy decision. Biden is a puppet for China. Son walked out with $1.5 billion. I think it's a little bit.
Let's talk about that.
Allowing them to rip off America for many years. Now they're paying us billions and billions of dollars. We give a lot of it to our farmers. We have plenty left over. China's not exactly happy with me. Billions. They pay us billions and billions of dollars, and they targeted our great farmers. And I took the money that they targeted. I took that money, and I gave it to the farmers, so they were even. So they're okay. Are you okay? Come. Doctor, please. Doctor. Thank you. These people, I mean, some of the people are waiting for 5 days, especially in this location, right? You take your time, darling. Take your time. Thank you very much. Take your time. Doctor, thank you, doctor. Thank you.
That's why I'm coming up to the stage now, I suppose.
Now, some people wait for 4 or 5 days. It's incredible. He never did anything against China, Joe Biden. And that's why they desperately want him to win. They want him to win so badly. Iran wants him to win so badly. Let me tell you, I'm going to make a very fast deal, the best deal you've ever seen. I've already made one with China, but I can make even more. They want me to lose because they will own the United States if I lose. Iran. President Obama gave them $150 billion for nothing. And almost more incredibly, he gave them $1.8 billion in green cash, beautiful cash. And now they're not doing so well, are they? They're not doing so well. Someday we're going to get credit for this. Someday. But they are waiting. Iran wants to make a deal so badly. But they're told by Kerry and all these other, they shouldn't, the Logan Act. But they're told by Kerry and all these people, wait, because if Trump loses, you'll own America. You're going to own it. They'll say you own it. So I don't mind. I told them, we can wait. But when I win, you're going to pay a much higher price than if you made a deal now. It's true. True. Told them.
That's the goal, ain't it?
Told them. And look what happened to Biden in Ukraine, where his son's paid $83,000 a month and he was jobless. Give me a break. $83,000 a month. More than anybody. If Joe Biden were to become president, an emboldened left will launch a full-scale assault on American life. You know that. They'll expel anyone who disagrees with them. Look what happens when you disagree. You use a term that's perfect and they're not happy with it. They call you a racist. They call you a horrible person. They want to crush religious liberty. They don't want religion. Silence religious believers. Indoctrinate your children with hateful and vicious lies about our country. Subsidize late-term abortion and after-birth execution.
Ralph Northam did that. That's right.
They want to take away your guns through the repeal of your Second Amendment, as sure as you're sitting there. In fact, he even put the big gun grabber, Beto O'Rourke, who made a fool out of himself when he ran for president, they put him in charge of guns. Lots of luck on your Second Amendment. Just remember I said it. Hopefully you won't have to think back about it too much, because it won't matter. Hopefully it won't matter. No, Beto O'Rourke, who wants to give up guns, is in charge of the Second Amendment. The Dems will also eliminate private health insurance, ban fracking, that's not good, and American energy will be in a position of weakness like it's never been before, and that's after we built the greatest energy country anywhere in the world by far. And they want to appoint Supreme Court justices who will utterly obliterate your Constitution. And you now see how important the Supreme Court is.
Talk about it.
Think if we didn't have two justices that I think have been very, very, very good. But think how important it is. Think how important it is. And we still, I guess it's, I don't know if it's an equal court. It's almost like we're a minority court, right? It's almost like we're a minority court. The recent Supreme Court cases prove that if Joe Biden is elected, he will stack the court with extremists and the forgotten men and women. Together with everyone else, we'll lose everything. The forgotten men and women. I campaigned on the forgotten. These are great people. These are substantial people. These are the elite. By the way, you're the elite. They're not the elite. You're the elite. They said, somebody 2 days ago said, sir, the elite are really working hard on trying to destroy you. I said, yeah. Why do you call them the elite? I said, why? Well, they're not elite. I look better than them. Much more handsome. Got better hair than they do. I got nicer properties. I got nicer houses. I got nicer apartments. I got nicer everything. I ran for politics once, just once in my life, and I became president of the United States. Once. Just once.
Hit the like button for me.
Hopefully, if you get out and vote, we'll do it one more time. We won't even toy with them about 3 or 4 more times. We won't. We'll do it one more time. We'll be 2 for 2, and our country will never, ever be stronger. But I'll be soon announcing a new list of exceptional candidates for the United States Supreme Court. and I'll choose only from that list 100%, probably 25 incredible people, any one of which could be a great justice, any one of which. And I did it last time, and people loved when I did it, and I'll only pick from that list. Biden can't release his list because the names would be too extreme, too radical. They wouldn't be acceptable, but they will be very radical people. People don't understand, but we actually won on DACA yesterday. We actually won because they basically said, you won, but you have to come back and redo it.
Basically.
It's almost like,
yeah.
Gee, come on back, your paperwork was no good.
I'll be right back.
But we're going to be refiling, but don't let it get you. Everything's going to work out really good. Everything's going to work out good. It was great. I mean, it would have been nice if we won it. Everybody said, oh, you're going to win DACA. You're going to win DACA. That's easy. You got to win DACA. That's easy. They all said it. And they came back and they said, we don't like what you did with your paperwork, essentially, right? So we're refiling it. Most people would say, oh, we lost. We didn't lose. We're going to refile it. And everything is going to work out for the young people, most of whom aren't so young anymore, by the way. But we're going to work it out for everybody. Biden is fully controlled by the fringe of his party. He is their pawn. He doesn't even know where the hell he is, let's face it. He installed socialists, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, to be in charge of his environmental policy and his energy. You can forget petroleum. How does Oklahoma feel about being petroleum-free? Not good, right? Our country will have no energy. Our country will have nothing. Oklahoma, Texas, North Dakota, and many others will all be out of business. I don't think that's going to work out too well, but she's actually in charge of environmental policy, and you know what that means. She doesn't even want wind. She doesn't want those bird-killing machines that go round and round. You want to see a lot of birds that are dead? Go under a windmill sometime. She wants us to go back to the Stone Ages because she's got no sense, no credentials. She's got a little charisma, not much, but she doesn't have a clue. You know it. But she's in charge of the environment. No airplanes. We can forget Boeing, I guess, come to think of it, right? We talked about Boeing. We could forget Boeing. Let's cancel those brand new Air Force Ones, right? Likewise, Representative Ilhan Omar is going to be very much involved in a Biden government. They will put this hate-filled, America-bashing socialist front and center in deciding the fate of your family and deciding the fate of your country. I don't think so. She would like to make the government of our country just like the country from where she came, Somalia. No government, no safety, no police, no nothing, just anarchy. And now she's telling us how to run our country.
That's facts.
No, thank you. And I think we're going to have a big victory in the state of Minnesota because they've had it. They've had it. Biden is a very willing Trojan horse for socialism. When Biden first ran for president over 33 years ago, remember I used to call him 1% Joe. He never got more than 1%. Until Obama took him off the trash heap. But he blatantly copied the speech of a British politician, even ripping off the man's personal biography and
Sure
family
did.
history, and claiming it was his own. He forgot to say he was born in America. Joe Biden is a shameless hypocrite. Since 2003, he has delivered fawning eulogies to the funeral and at those funerals of 3 leading supporters of segregation, including a former member of the KKK And yet Biden is now smearing as racist tens of millions of people like yourselves, decent, hardworking Americans who he's never met, and he frankly probably doesn't want to meet.
Correct.
America should not take lectures on racial justice from Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe. A man who praised and partnered with segregationists, shipped millions of black American jobs overseas, and everyone else's jobs too, by the way. If I didn't come along, we're building auto plants, we're building everything. And there's never been a comeback like we're making right now. Never been. He hollowed out our middle class, including our black middle class, with open borders, trapped young children in failing government schools, built cages. Those cages were built by Obama and Biden. Look it up, 2014. And the fake news doesn't want to remember the picture of a cage for children. Remember the picture of the cage? And they said, President Trump. And then they realized that was in a newspaper, 2014, the same. Built by Obama and Biden, the cages. And they don't want to report the way it is. They know
real.
The way it is.
It's all
They're
facts.
Stupid. They sent young boys to fight in Iraq while the inner cities crumbled, helped the big banks while hammering community leaders, and made our cities less safe and secure for all. They've done a terrible job, and they shouldn't be awarded. They should not get rewarded with an election victory on November 3rd. That shouldn't happen. It'll destroy this country. Our country will be destroyed. We've all worked too hard. They don't know what the hell they're doing. Some do, actually, but in a very sinister way. Virtually every policy that has hurt black Americans for half a century, Joe Biden has supported or enacted. I've done more for the black community in 4 years than Joe Biden has done in 47 years.
That's big facts. What can you really say?
Racial justice begins with Joe Biden's retirement from public life. We are joined tonight by many outstanding Republican leaders. These are great people. We have two of our most distinguished, hardworking, wonderful friends, senators. They do a great job. Senator Jim Inhofe and James Lankford, please stand up. Two very respected, I will tell you, two very respected people in Washington. They're respected by everybody. They do some job, and I'd have you come up, but you can relax. I will say this. Jim is running on November 3rd. Jim Inhofe. He's running on November 3rd. I don't even know. Does he, hey, James, does he have any competition?
David Harris.
Somebody actually running against? There's no competition that he's got.
Paris
I know
Denard,
he's
Deneen
got
Borelli.
James's support. He's got my support. I give him 100% endorsement. Jim Inhofe. I give it to James too, but he's not running this time. Thank you, Jim. Great job. Thank you very much. What a great senator he is. Also here is a man who's respected by so many. He's a little bit right of the people we've been talking about tonight. Senator Tom Cotton of the great state of Arkansas.
All right, shout out Tom Cotton.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, thank you.
They like you people. Thank you, Tom. Great job you're doing. We're glad to be joined as well by a man that I've gotten to know. He's done an incredible job with COVID and with everything else he touches. Governor Kevin Stitt.
That's the governor of Oklahoma.
Thank you both.
Well, Herman Cain right there in the cut.
Thank you. Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Matt. And Representatives Frank Lucas, Tom Cole, he's been here for a little while. He's done an incredible job. Mark Wayne Mullen, you don't want to fight with him. I want to put him and Jim Jordan in a match together. I want to. Kevin Hearn, great job today, Kevin. The great Jim Jordan.
Yeah, shout out Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan, hey, shout out to my man Jim Jordan. Big Jim Jordan fan.
Elise Stefanik.
Elise Stefanik, yes. Big time star, rising star.
Lee Zeldin.
Lee Zeldin, shout out Lee Zeldin.
Tom Emmer. Tom, thank you. These are warriors, folks. These are great warriors. During the fake impeachment trial, I'll tell you what, there was nobody that could have done the job they've done. That includes the Senate and the House. These people are incredible. David Kutzoff. David. A great friend of mine, Debbie Lesko, Arizona. Great job, Debbie. Great job. And a man who's got very good genes, Greg Pence. Thank you all. Great job. They're great people. They are. They're warriors. I'll tell you what. Not every person is, but this group is, and we have a lot of them in Washington. And we'll send Jim Inhofe back, and we'll send all of them. You'll send every one of them. They have to come back because they have been fighting for us, and they've been fighting for you, and they are just incredible, talented, tough, strong people that love your state a lot. So thank you very much. So we built the greatest single economy in the world. And then we say, not only the world, but actually in the history of the world, and they never even challenged me, so I guess I'm right. We did it. We had the best numbers anybody's ever had. We had the best employment numbers. African American, Hispanic American, Asian American. The best employment numbers in history. The best stock market numbers in history. We were the envy of the world. Everybody would come in to see me. Presidents, prime minister, kings, queens, and dictators. Dictators would even come in and say, congratulations on the economy. And then the plague came in, and now what we're doing is we're doing it again, and it's going fast. We have to have a lot of it done because people don't quite get it. We're doing record business. It's happening at a level and a speed that nobody can believe. 2 weeks ago, job numbers came in. The single biggest number in the history of our country. Last week.
To get them jobs back on deck.
Last week, retail sales numbers came in. Retail sales. The single greatest number in the history of our country. So here's what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen. They blame a president for anything. When you see looters, even though we put them down, if we didn't stop them, nobody would, because the other side will never stop them. But they always blame a president. Here's what's happening. We're going up, we're going up, we're going up, we're going to go up. Then we're going to hit October. We're going to be up. We're going to be way up. We're not going to be where we were, but in many ways, other than all of the horrible, horrible death that was so needlessly caused by a virus that should have been stopped where it originated, which was China. But we're going to go up, 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 August, September, October, and people are going to say, man, this guy's doing a good job. He knows what he's doing. I don't believe the fake news anymore. And you're not going to want to lose your 401ks, and you're not going to want to lose all of that wealth that you've accumulated, whether it's real estate wealth or any wealth you can think, because it'll all come tumbling down if these people are put in charge, and if they double and triple and quadruple your taxes. It'll be a whole different ballgame. So I'm not putting any pressure on anybody, but in the end, we're going to have a phenomenal economy. And next year, we're going to have a good third quarter. But next year, and I said it before, will be the single greatest year economically that we've ever had, okay? And if you see that happening, if you see it happening on November 3rd, you don't have the guts to vote against Trump. Even you don't have the guts to vote against Trump. Say, wait a minute, darling, my 401k is higher than it was the last time. I don't think I want to take a chance. You're not going to want to do that. The stock market has been the best.
It's booming.
Think of this.
That's facts.
Go back 1 week and go back 50 days. In that 50-day period, it's the strongest 50 days in the history of the stock market. Think of it. And your wife or your husband says, darling, I love you so much. You are such a great investor. And all you did is just keep the same crap you had the first time, right? Darling, I love you so much. You've always been a loser. You've always lost money. But now under President Trump, you're one of the greatest financial minds in our country. And all you did was keep your stock. Now, if you think you're going to run against, oh, they're going crazy. They want the stock market to go down, even if it costs them money.
They do.
They want the stock market to go down, even if it costs them money. And they don't even know why. You know what? They're smart and they're vicious, but they don't know why. I'm telling you, they don't know why. What's wrong with having the strongest military brand new in the world all built? What's wrong with having these great economic numbers? What's wrong with having to close it down? We saved millions of lives. You know, a lot of people say we should have gone herd. Let's go herd. Ask him, how are they doing in Brazil? He's a great friend of mine. Not good. You heard about Sweden, right? 2 months. Ask him how they doing in Sweden. We saved millions of lives, and now it's time to open up, get back to work.
Hurt would have been better. I will say that. But if you go hurt, people die.
I recently signed
problem
groundbreaking criminal justice reform. I secured record and permanent funding for historically black colleges and universities.
You sure did.
We slashed regulations and passed massive tax cuts to give black workers a pay raise like they've never, ever gotten before, and lift up black-owned businesses. And I worked closely with a great senator also, friend of theirs, Senator Tim Scott, South Carolina, to create opportunity zones, which are doing incredibly. And since then, countless jobs and $100 billion of new investment, not government investment, have poured into 9,000 of our most distressed neighborhoods anywhere in the country. 9,000. Never happened before. Tim Scott. Today, I'm also announcing that I have directed Secretary of the Interior David Bernhardt to place the John Hope Franklin Reconciliation Park here in Tulsa on the African American Civil Rights Network. So many of my friends have been asking me to do that. So many of my friends, including these great politicians. So we're going to do that. It'll be done very quickly. We will forever remember and honor the courageous people who helped build this state and this country. Democrats are stoking division in order to distract from their decades of failure on schools, jobs, housing, justice, and crime. In major city public schools run by Democrats, over 2/3 of students are falling behind in reading and math, and I think the numbers are worse than that. But Democrats would rather deny these children the future they deserve than allow them to attend the charter, public, private, religious, or independent schools of their choice. Pro-choice. Pro-choice. Pro-choice for schools. It's very popular, but some people it's like a disaster because what it does to certain unions that have a lot of power over the Democrats, even though they know it's wrong. Republicans believe access to education is a civil right. It's a civil right. 20 of the most dangerous cities in America are controlled by Democrats. Think of that. 20 of 20. And so is nearly every major city with a child poverty rate that's over 30%. They're controlled by Democrats. We can name every one of them. The murder rate in Baltimore and Detroit is higher than El Salvador, Guatemala, or even Afghanistan. How are they doing, the Democrats running those cities? Your whole country will be like that. In 2018 alone, our police arrested nearly 12,000 people for murder and manslaughter, 25,000 people for rape, and nearly 1.5 million for assault, violent assault. The Democrats' push against our police will drive up crime and drive up costs at levels you'd never believe. Thousands of innocent lives will be lost. As president, I will always support the incredible men and women of law enforcement.
Yes, indeed. Talk about that. Say that. Because we got a little bit of blue flu going on at ATL. So say that. Support the blue.
A vote for Republicans is a vote for better schools, better jobs, safer families, and stronger communities for all Americans. There is a limit to what we can together achieve with 4 more years. With your help, we will lift millions of our citizens from welfare to work, dependence to independence, and poverty to prosperity. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. And that was happening at a level that nobody ever thought they'd see. It was happening before this COVID came in. It was happening at a level that nobody believed possible. And then China sent us the plague. Thank you very much. We will protect Medicare and Social Security for our great seniors, and will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions, always, always. We will appoint more judges to interpret the Constitution as written. We will end deadly sanctuary cities. We will finish the wall, which has now 212 miles built and beautiful.
Build that wall up. Let's get it complete ASAP.
212 miles, that's a lot of miles. And let me tell you, you think that was an easy one? That was a tough one. That party was totally unified against building the wall. You know, in the end, they gave up. You know what happened? They realized it was a bad issue for them because these open borders, I love when they fight for open borders, because anybody that wants an open border coming in from rough areas, there's something wrong with those people. So did you notice in the end, it was like, just leave us alone, build your wall, just leave us alone. I said, thank you very much.
He's a machine, 74 years old.
And we will elect a Republican Congress to create a fair, safe, sane, and lawful system of immigration that puts American workers first. We will revitalize our cities, and we will build gleaming new roads, bridges, tunnels, and airports all across our land. We will enact new trade deals that result in more products proudly stamped with that beautiful phrase, made in the USA. It's so beautiful, so beautiful. Made in the USA. That's happening too. We have so many plants coming into Michigan and so many other states. We have car plants coming in. Would have never come if I wasn't president. Would have never come. We will become the world's premier pharmacy, drugstore, and medical manufacturer. That's already started. We're bringing it back. We will keep America out of foolish, stupid, ridiculous foreign wars. We will never hesitate to kill America's terrorist enemies. You know, when I took over, ISIS was all over the place. And I did something that I felt we should do. And we have now obliterated, we have now captured 100% of the ISIS caliphate. 100. And like our depleted military when I took over, like our empty shelves medically when I took over, like all of the things that when I took over, it was a mess. We have done a job. You had to see what ISIS was doing. They were getting bigger, 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 bigger. I came in smaller, smaller, smaller. Sir, we've just taken 100%. We will launch a new age of American ambition in space, and the United States will be the first nation to land on Mars. Good program.
Shout out to Elon, the other Elon.
You saw the beautiful rocket 3 weeks ago go up. Beautiful. We will defend privacy, free thought, free speech, religious liberty, and the right to keep and bear arms.
Gotta have that.
And when you see those lunatics all over the streets, it's damn nice to have arms. Damn nice. Interesting how all of a sudden people understand it, right? You couldn't sell it. Now people understand it. The right to keep and bear arms will protect your Second Amendment. Above all, we will never stop fighting for the sacred values that bind us together as one America. We will support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. We uphold the principle of equal justice under the law. We believe in the dignity of work and the sanctity of life. We believe that faith and family, not government and bureaucracy, are the true American way.
He's killing it. He's killing it. Nobody can deny it. He's killing it. How they gonna spin it tomorrow in the media?
We believe that children should be taught to love our country, honor our history, and always salute our great American flag. And we live by the words of our national motto: it will never change. In God we trust. We stand on the shoulders of American heroes who crossed the oceans, blazed the trails, settled the continent, tamed the wilderness, dug out the Panama Canal, laid down the railroads, revolutionized industries, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and made America the single greatest nation in the history of the world. And we are making it greater and greater every single day. Proud citizens like you help build this country, and together we are taking back our country. We are returning the power to you, the American people. With your help, your devotion, and your drive, we are going to keep on working. We are going to keep on fighting, and we are going to keep on winning, winning, winning. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. America will soon be thriving like never before because, ladies and gentlemen of Oklahoma, the best is yet to come. Together we will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Oklahoma. Thank you.
Man, oh man. I mean, wow, that was something. That was probably the best one I seen. And I've been to Trump rallies. I've been to Trump rallies. I've been to one here in Chattanooga with like 10,000 people. I went to the Black Voices for Trump. I've been to the White House twice and saw him speak. But this one right here was just something a little bit different. It was a little bit different. I turned that sound off because it got music playing. But I just want to see if anybody comes up on stage right now. But that was amazing. That, I mean, like nobody can really, there's no way you could say that was not amazing. Yeah, that was great. that was really great. Wow. So I wonder how you guys felt about it. Now, of course, there are protesters outside, but you know, you got a National Guard outside right there in Tulsa, so they're backing up. Okay, so he's out there talking to people. Got a fly in here, of course, as always. One little random fly. So we're going to see if he's going to talk to anybody else here. Anybody that I know. All right. So, like I said, there are protesters outside, some Antifa types doing whatever they do, of course. But I think by the time Trump comes out, like he won't even, they won't even see Trump. By the time the people come out, then all of that will be pretty much over with. Alrighty, so that is rally right there, and there you have it. Wow. Pardon this right here. You see this over here is going real fast. Let's get caught back up. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just turn it off right quick. Yeah, I'm gonna turn it off and then fix it, just so you guys can, just so it's not going at this breakneck speed. You understand what I'm saying? All right, so let's do that. Yeah, turn it back on and then turn it that way. Perfect, there we go. All right, so that is a rally right there. Like I said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the rally. I'll be here for a little while longer. I'm gonna take a few calls. I got about an hour left of my regular show. So what I'm gonna take a few calls. Yeah, so here we go. Yeah, the speech was great. I want to see if anybody could actually say anything negative about that, really. I want to see what the media says afterwards. Matter of fact, I want to see what Clinton News Network, what everybody else is saying. So these are the troops out there on Boulder Avenue. I'm supposing that's where the rally is, like right on that particular street. So the troops are already ready to rock. Okay, this is in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay, so yeah, they're ready to go ahead and get cracking if they have to. That's what you got to do. Get them out there and have some things just be under control. Now you got some Black Lives Matter people, Black Lives Matter protesters out there. Got guys wearing Kaepernick jerseys and whatnot. No, the funny part about the protesters is that I guarantee you they all traveled. So the fans traveled and the protesters traveled. So do you think anybody's going to travel for Joe Biden? If Joe Biden has his speech, will anybody travel to go see it? Will anybody travel to, try to be a hater and stop doing what he's doing? I don't think so. So that tells you right there who's the more popular candidate, who is the more feared candidate, if that's the proper word to use. It's definitely not Joe Biden. Not at all. Not in the least bit. Not whatsoever. What's trending right now is Trump 2020 landslide. Hashtag Trump 2020 landslide, all one word. Matter of fact, if I could put it in the screen, I might not be able to. Yeah, it won't go on the screen, but that is trending on Twitter right now. So yeah, let's take a few calls. All right, thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you. If you are new to the channel, you just now found this channel because you're watching the stream, might as well go ahead and stay, man. Pull up a chair, subscribe right quick. And when you subscribe, click the bell. So when you click the bell, you get notified when I post a new video. I post up all the time, every day, pretty much. Okay, before I get to the calls, I want to say this. That speech, think about it like this. That man is 74 years old, just turned 74, I think he'll be 74 next month, if I'm not mistaken. Basically, he's 74. No spring chicken. He got on stage and spoke for almost 2 hours straight without stopping. I speak here for a living, basically. For me to speak for an hour without stopping, it's kind of hard. I mean, without taking a swig of water or nothing, I might get to a point where I can take a little bit of water, get myself tightened up. He took one sip of water. I've been chugging this tea over here, and I got water over there. I've been chugging that. He took one sip of water and then threw the cup like it was nothing. At 74 years old, he had like once or twice where he slurred a word, but that's not even worth mentioning. But the media will mention it. They'll talk about the one slur, and then they'll just neglect the entire 2 hours almost of on stage talking, uninterrupted, little to no teleprompter reference. He was looking at teleprompter just for basic prompts, basically, but not for the entire content of his speech. I mean, that was great, man. So what can Joe Biden do to counteract that, to combat that? Are they going to have live debates? When they have live debates, man, it's going to be really ugly. It's going to be ugly. You understand me? It's going to be brand new chicken out of the nest, but ugly. You understand? He said that Joe Biden was a helpless puppet. Imagine calling him that on stage. What can Joe Biden really retort with? What can he really say? What can he do? He's not even going to be quick enough on his feet to really be able to get him like that. He's going to be confused. Joe Biden should not be out there trying to become the president. Anybody, he's going to lose regardless, but they're going to lose more than the election. They're going to lose faith from some of their electorate. It's like, you want to put him out there? Really? You want to put this guy out in front of the masses? Why? He does not look well at all. It's very simple. All right, so let's do some calls right quick. All right, the number to call, 434-658-1220. Hold on, let me see if somebody National Guard. Hopefully the National Guard and everything is good to go. Yeah, but that speech right there, I felt like he was holding that for some months, and it just all came out just tonight. And, he had plenty of time to actually prepare it, plenty of time to prepare it. Joe Biden is in his basement doing what? What are you preparing? You're preparing to take a nap in the middle of the day because you don't have any energy. Yeah. All righty. So let's see. I'm gonna look at some of this footage of the troops of the National Guard, pardon me, and then I'm gonna see if anything is going on that shouldn't be. Looks pretty chill right now. Looks pretty chill. Once the boys roll up, the mob goes away. All right. That's kind of how that works. All right, let's get some calls. I know I've been saying that for a minute, but I'm gonna do that for real now. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. The number is always in the description box. If you click on the show more right up under my video, you see it at the very top, and it's right there as well, right up under me. Perfect timing. Dial 434-658-1220. The number is always right there in the ticker at a certain point in time. Now, please be aware that the phone calls are going to be jam-packed, so I'm not going to be able to have you on for very long. And I don't have much longer to be on the show. Actually, I got like another hour. That's just kind of how it is. I might go a little bit longer depending upon what's going on. And I got super chats to read. So just, hang tight, hold your horse. Let's get to the first call. All right, caller in the line. Tell me who am I speaking to?
My name's Dan. How are you?
Everything's great, man. Can't complain. What's going on?
Well, I was just going to say, because we was talking before the rally, or you was talking before the rally, pardon me, about Trump sending in the troops. And a friend of mine had a really interesting theory about them just trying to basically dare Trump to do that. And the reason they're demoralizing the police so much is they think that at some point he'll have to do that. And federalizing the police is like a horrible thing as far as us as a country. And I just kind of wondered what, your thoughts were on that.
Well, I think you got a point there. That might kind of be the angle that they're trying to approach this. And I think that Trump has been correct to not take the bait, because we're not at the stage where you have really, really serious things happening. I mean, there are some serious things happening, but it's not to the point where it's like, okay, you have people marching down the street just shooting innocent people. That's not really going on right now. What you have is just general lawlessness that the local people could easily stop if they wanted to. It does not necessarily require federal help. People are just not doing things appropriately where they are. So I think you're right about that. And like I was saying before, if he does like Seattle, then he's got to do Atlanta, then it becomes the military or the local police, which should not be the case. So I think you're correct about that.
Right on. But hey, listen, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I love watching you, man, and I'm going to keep on watching you.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you. All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. You guys give me a second here. I'm going to turn my ringer off because I had to turn my system audio off so you guys will not hear that crazy Skype ringer. I'm going to get that fixed right quick, and then I'm going to get right back to the calls. Like I said, the number to call is 434-658-1220. The number is always in the description box and also in the ticker. Let's go ahead and get into it. All righty. 213 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, it's Matt Deckard in Los Angeles.
All righty. What's going on?
I'm doing great, and keep up the good work. I just wanted to say I was speaking to a friend of mine who's at the New York Times. I asked him, were you watching the president talk? And he said, no. And it just throws me that there's a whole just group of anybody who's against Trump. I mean, I channel surf all day. I watch CNN, NBC, Fox. I watch them all. And I can see the separation of people. But anybody I know that is completely against Trump will not look at anything on the other side. They just are completely laser focused on, hating Trump. And it's just a curiosity to me that the people I know that do support Trump or love him have looked at CNN, NBC. They will watch CNN just to see what's going on the other side. Whereas the people who who don't like Trump are completely myopic. What do you think about that? Why do you think that is?
Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, their hatred for Trump just blinds them so much. They don't even want to give him a chance. They don't want to see him because it kind of upsets them. What they say, it kind of triggers them. So to avoid their triggers, to avoid being upset, they just totally bypass him. But at the same time, they talk about him all the time. So it's kind of weird. It's like, okay, how can you always speak about this man, New York Times, et cetera, where they speak about him all the time, but they don't even watch him. They don't understand what's going on. I watch, like you said, I watch everything. I read everything just to get the full scope of what's happening. And if it's like a local news story, I read the local news and then I read the national news. I read everything. I'm not just a person that's so caught up in my feelings to where I can't even see what the other side is doing. So that's probably what that is. It's about how they feel, and they just don't want to activate their triggers that get them emotionally tied up over Trump.
Yeah, and also he was the number one star for NBC for years. He was the guy they promoted the most. They loved him. And the giant pivot they had to take to kind of erase that history was just amazing. But,
it's pretty crazy. Yeah.
But I'm just still stunned by the myopic viewpoint that anybody who's seems to be on the left has. They will not look at anything. And I forget who it was who was saying, look at what Trump did for, the prison reform and all that. And they're saying that never happened. We will not admit to it. They won't admit to anything he's done. It's just, I don't know. I do think he'll win again next election. I don't think it's going to be a squeaker. I think with these riots going on, it's really opening, I think you said it too, opening everybody's eyes to what the media is doing. You can't just, I've got people here in LA who said it's peaceful protesting, and then their street's been burned down. And then they're writing articles about how it's like Saigon, because literally they burst into buildings, set them on fire. And in LA, we got to see helicopter footage of just overhead views. I never saw that on any of the other networks, but the news channels locally, you completely got to see overhead helicopter footage of them just going down store by store into just looting. And I'm just surprised it's just not really covered very well on any of the networks, not even Fox. But I do think they don't have the.
I'm sorry, caller, but I have a small amount of time.
Go
so
ahead.
you got kind of wrap your point right quick.
I think the networks don't have the resources to cover what they used to, because they're just focusing it all on Trump when the local ones cover it better. That was the next thing I wanted to point out. But I love your work. Keep it up and keep talking.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay, take care.
All right, shout out to the callers. You guys are great. Let me get to the next call. All right, calling on the line, 47, who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, you need to know this, man. Listen, these look at the numbers for who showed up to the Trump rally. They're lower. They're lower than normal. I've seen some pictures.
Okay, hold on, pause. What are the numbers?
What's up?
What are the numbers?
So, okay, so I've seen pictures. I said pictures.
Wait. You said the numbers. What are the numbers?
Okay. I can't remember the numbers right now off the top of my head. All right, but I've seen the pictures. All right, and it looks something's wrong. Something's off.
Okay, right. But I mean, like, let's get all the facts first before we just say that something's wrong, because we really don't know. Because I don't know what's going on, because it could have been like, have you been to a Trump rally before?
Yes, I have. Fort Lauderdale.
So you understand the process? You got to wait outside.
I've seen 40,000 people.
Okay, but hold on, let me finish. So you know the process. You got to wait outside for a long time. You got to go through security checkpoint, and you might not be able to get in if you don't meet the cutoff time or whatever the case may be. It may be your overflow. So have you seen the overflow?
Right. I've been familiar with that.
No. I'm talking about in this case in the Tulsa rally. Have you seen the Tulsa overflow?
No.
Okay, so it's kind of hard to tell, because you know what they did this year? They had the temperature check. So that could slow down the process of being able to get in. Plus, they had a lot of protesters that were trying to block some of the entry, so that can impede your progress. So what I would want to see is if there's less people inside the place, how many were outside that could not get in? Were people prevented from being able to get in by the protesters? Like, what's really going on? Let me see the total people that came to Tulsa for the rally, the outflow that were there, having the event outside, and then how many were in, and then let's get a total number of those that actually attended, and then we can see a better picture of what's happening.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to let you know, I've seen some things. I don't know if they're true or not, but I've heard what was it, AOC tweeted out something about TikTok and how people put in fake reservations on seats. Have you seen this?
Well, I mean, as far as the rally is concerned?
Yeah.
I mean, they always do that because it's free tickets, so that's nothing new.
All right. Do you think it was worse? Because I heard TikTok is influenced by Chinese investors.
So what about TikTok? Like, how did they factor into the whole thing?
I heard people were on TikTok were saying, "Hey, over reserved seats on the Trump rally."
Oh, well, I mean, that always happens. That always happens.
Twitter.
That's not new, because the tickets are free. So that always happens. I mean, that happens with any event like this, any kind of political event, it always happens. Say they had like 1 million people that reserved. Now, of course, you can't have 1 million people that show up. So How many of those were just hopeful, trying to get there, but couldn't make it? How many were just trolls? Yeah. Really, because the ticket, it's not like there's a number you can hit to actually max it out.
Exactly.
It's all about who first comes, first served. That's all it is. And if there was a low amount of people that were in the building, you got to think about how many were prevented from being able to get in because of the protests, or was a process slowed down by the extra security checks. But hey, man, thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
Yo, I appreciate your time, man. Have a great night.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. All right, shout out to the caller. The number to call, 434-658-1220. 646 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, how you doing? You speaking of Valentine?
All right, man. What's going on?
All right. Just let me give you my thoughts real quick on the rally, and let me know if you feel the same way. I know you were saying already that this rally felt like no other one before, but let me tell you this: doesn't Trump do a great job on selling you on America? Doesn't he? Like, I feel like he wakens up the inner nationalist, and not in a bad way, obviously. Nationalist is not a bad word, but doesn't he? And by the way, I'm Latino, and I wasn't even born here. I'm a legal immigrant. But doesn't he wake up the American nationalist in everyone when you see a rally like that? Doesn't it make you like, go America? Didn't you get that off of this rally?
100%, man. It's really motivational. It's encouraging because people might get demoralized at a particular thing. They watching the media, they watching all this fake stuff, and then you see Trump. It's a uplifting message. It's a hopeful message. It's an encouraging message, and it definitely does wake up that inner nationalist in you, and that's a good thing because we all Americans. That's all that really matters at the end of the day when you're talking about the country. It's all of us as Americans being able to push forward.
100%. Now, something that intrigues me, and I wonder if this is like they do this on purpose. For example, talking about the rally, Fox News just recently, they released a post saying that, incredibly, right, that Trump is trailing Biden, right, supposedly. Yet, you go on the live stream of Fox News, and the man has 220K viewers. It's like it's not adding up. And I'm wondering, does Fox News, channel does this on purpose to try to kind of send a message to Trump supporters? Hey, don't sleep, spread the word and do what you got to do, like kind of like reverse psychology type of thing.
It could be that, because I really don't know. I was on Twitter looking at some of the people tweeting about it. They were saying that there was a total of 1 million people watching the rally on YouTube. 1 million total on YouTube. So
wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of people that were watching this for sure. So it could be that, just saying, don't sleep, keep your foot on the gas and get all the way to the finish line and go across it. Follow across the finish line. Don't just let up at the end and just think that you got it in the bag, because the other side, they're going to be upset. They're going to be triggered. So we got to just keep doing what we do.
Exactly. My last question to let you go. Where do you think that we are at the vice presidency for Joe Biden? Are we, or in your opinion, what do you think is going to be Stacey Abrams, or all I'm hearing is Kamala Harris? Stacey Abrams, Kamala Harris. Which one do you think is going to be the one? I mean, what is the indication? Who do you think is going?
Neither one out of Kamala Harris and Stacey Abrams. I think it'd be Keisha Lance Bottoms, the mayor of Atlanta.
Ooh, yes. She's not looking good in these last couple of days because of the shooting, and the DA is just making a whole craziness out there. But she's not looking good. She actually was pleading with the police officers when the Atlanta police officer caught the blue flu to remember your oath to protect us. Remember, please don't abandon us. When everybody in the whole country is defund the police, and now she's begging the police officers to.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point for sure.
And that's it. I just want to, if you mind, can I give a shout out?
Oh, go ahead, man. Go for it.
I want to give a shout out to myself, the Valentine Show. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, doing and spreading the same message that ABL is doing a great job. So go please support me on the Valentine Show on YouTube. God bless each and every one of you guys. ABL, keep doing what you're doing, man. There's a lot of people, man. There's a lot, especially for your community. There's a lot of people that are looking up to you, and you're doing something that is going to bring a change to the black community in America, which desperately needs it. God bless, my brother.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
No problem.
All righty. Shout out to my man for the call. Great call. All right, the phone lines are blowing up. If you can't get through, please try again. It's like C-SPAN. After something happens, just keep on trying. Number to call again, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. The number is always in the description box and also right here in a ticker at a particular point in time. You see it slide across the screen whenever it decides to do that. Let's get to the next call. 501, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's up, man? This is Joe.
All right, man. What's going on?
Hey, man, I did the Liberty for you because I know, man, it's a great show so far. That was a great speech. I know you mentioned something about kind of what CNN was doing, and I was kind of triple tasking here, and I took a couple of notes. First thing they did, man, they all looked in distraught, all looked like they're about to cry, and they really jumped on the Trump slowed down the testing, and you know, we kind of got the hint of the context of it. The kid's got some sniffles. I mean, that's not worth the test to be doing. So you get some crying over that. The peaceful protest thing, they didn't mention anything, of course, when Trump mentioned about the burning building behind the anchor, who was screaming to Anderson Cooper about how peaceful the protest was. Didn't mention one thing about that. So they kind of kept it on the low about how, peaceful the protesters were and all that, and how Trump was kind of making stuff up. And Kung Flu was probably the biggest thing. They had about 6 people on there basically, looked like they're about to cry, talking about, oh, man, we got the Kung Flu, Chinese virus and whatnot. So they were pretty much in distraught on there. So it was kind of funny to watch. I wish I recorded it so I can go back and watch it. It's pretty entertaining.
That is hilarious. But, hey, man, it is what it is. But that's really funny.
But he dropped the hammer down tonight. I don't see Biden lasting very long at all in these debates. I mean, he's going to be doing a lot of pandering while Trump will be on the complete offensive. It's going to be a beatdown to watch, man. I cannot wait for these debates. And one more thing, man, because I know we're running kind of time limit with these phone calls. You had that call earlier about the Trump rally and the numbers on it, and that's something else CNN's been mentioning. Biden is still up in his basement, man. Come on. I mean, he's not doing anything. He has no effort at all about, pushing a rally, anything right now. I think he's going to be in that basement probably for another 3 months before we see anything. So he better hurry up and do something. Otherwise, he's going to get demolished anyway. So it really don't matter.
He did do kind of a little campaign stop. I'm not sure if you call it a rally. It was at some kind of school or something. It might have been 5 people there. And I'm not even lying. Like, if you see the picture, it was like big circles on the ground that were drawn out, white circles on the ground with one chair in the middle, and not even all the chairs were filled up. In that picture, it might have been 2 people, and probably in the whole spot, it might have been 10 people. So he's trying to do some things, but I mean, who wants to go see Joe Biden? Like, who's going to be excited to go hear Joe Biden speak, really?
I don't think anybody's really going to be excited about it. I mean, look at the stuff he's doing over the internet. You could tell everything he's saying is being written and scripted by everybody else. He's not writing a single word that else down. I mean, otherwise he'd be, kind of talking like I am now, a little bit of slander here and there. So I apologize for that, man. This is really awesome. I'm glad I got to talk to you, man. And man, great broadcast so far. I'll be listening some more.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
All right, shout out to the caller. And so you guys can see what I'm talking about, the picture I was referring to. Okay. Hold on. Matter of fact, okay, let's pull it up. Like, I was not playing. That's it right there. That's the picture. So that's Joe Biden back here at the podium, and there's like a sign language lady. What's the point of having that? Like, nobody's watching this, so why does it even matter? The chances of you having somebody that's hearing impaired and or deaf is next to none because nobody's watching this. So you have 2 chairs right here that are totally empty, and then 1 chair right here, 1 chair right there filled. Now, I'm sure people are behind this. Well, I hope people are behind this, but this is terrible. Why would you let this get out? This was not good at all. I mean, and they're probably about, okay, this is hilarious. He's in a gym, right? And I used to play basketball a little bit. They're at the half court line. He's like under the rim. They're at the half court line. They're that far away. That's far. You can't even, you got to do a few dribbles. You got to, that's going to take you a while to get from half court to up under the hoop and get the bucket. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, nobody's there, but Trump rallies are deep. The media will say, well, the top rows weren't totally full, But look at this. Why not talk about this? This is crazy. But let me get to the next call. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. I'm also got my own phone number. Let's get to the next call. All right, calling the 9717. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Yes, who am I speaking to?
It's going to be Evan.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Oh, nothing. Just had one quick question for you.
All right, go for it.
So, with the whole defund police movement that's going on right now, I was wondering if, because of the radical side is saying defund all police and everything, but I was wondering if there could be a happy medium to where some funding could go away from the police departments if the Democrats are willing to potentially loosen the restrictions on concealed carry and potentially do a national concealed carry law. Because I feel like that would be more Republicans would jump on the board with that because there would still be more quote unquote good guys with guns on the street, but also, some of the money from the police departments will go to other places to help with the education and other things that the black community are fighting for right now.
I wouldn't do that because it's not necessary. And I feel like you're giving them an inch and to take a mile because you kind of like concede on that. Then you think that it has to happen. But in my humble opinion, we should not do any kind of police reform, or at least not as far as like taking money away. Like if you're going to reallocate money, reallocate it towards things that will help the police become stronger rather than something that's not going to be police related. The education, that's not really going to help. There's already a bunch of money allocated towards education in a lot of these areas that don't have it. So I don't think it's really going to make a difference. I see what you're saying. It could be kind of a happy medium, but I don't think so. And then also the message is that the riots work. We get things done when we riot rather than going out there and voting like civilized people. So I'm not a fan of that.
True.
I think that we should just, stay the course. And then when people are seeing that the Democrat cities are not very well run, they don't care about their safety, that's going to impact those that are running these places, and it's going to hurt them in their upcoming elections. So I don't think that's really a good idea, but I do see where you're coming from. I mean, it's a good suggestion, but I would not do that myself.
Okay, yeah, because I'm in California. I don't voluntarily live here. I'm actually active duty Air Force, and I'm in Santa Barbara County. And me being a law enforcement for the Air Force, still the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Department has denied my concealed carry license. I have to go through the federal concealed carry license, which I find is absurd to begin with.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
That I can carry a gun on duty on an Air Force base, but the moment I step off base, I can't legally conceal carry.
Wow, that's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
And that's California, I guess, for you.
Yeah, that's California, exactly. Out here, like Tennessee and Virginia too, you can pretty much do whatever. Especially in Virginia, you can open carry anything in Virginia, but in Tennessee, you have not very tight laws as well. So, I think that states should be more empowered to do certain things. California, unfortunately, just not really there, man. But hey, thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
Yep. All right. You have a good night.
Same to you.
Bye.
That was a good question, though. Shout out to the caller for that. And shout out to him being in the Air Force. Big up the Air Force. Let's get to the next call. 209, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. This is Jessica from California. How you doing?
Everything's good. About yourself?
I'm good. Thank you. Hey, I thought that I think you guys do a great job. I think you conservatives do a really good job. You're doing a really good job. I watched the Trump rally, and I thought he did an awesome job. And I don't know how you can even diss anything out what he says when he basically talks about the whole spectrum of everything that's going on. But this is my question for you. This is what I don't understand. We come from, America is not bad. We are the freest country at all. We have all the opportunities that we want to do. Why is it that you think, especially this younger generation or people in general, why do you think they're so towards socialism and even communism, and even looking around at other countries and seeing what communism and socialism does? Why do you think these people are so for it?
Well, I think the reason is because they're just young and they're hopeful. They think that this is a good thing and it can really help people, and they don't really understand what they're talking about. And then once they get to be older, and they have life experience, then they'll understand. It's kind of the same way I was when I was young. I ain't really, I'm looking at things through the lens of this is how I think things should be rather than what the reality was. And then once I got out on my own, started making my own money, and I became an adult, I was like, oh, okay, this is how things really are. This is the real world. They don't have any real world experience. And a lot of people, even when they get to be adults, still don't have that real world experience. A lot of these basement dwellers never experienced life. So they don't even understand what they're talking about. And that's why it is, appealing to them. And then beyond that, they get taught this way in school, public school, college. College is the worst. College is worse than K through 12, really, for indoctrination. And you got to pay for that, which is crazy. You would think that if you live in a liberal place and they have basically control of the educational system, K through 12, it would be bad there. But I mean, you might have a decent kid in that situation. You're something in California, Berkeley, California, or something like that to go to school. They come home Antifa. So, yeah, they get educated that way, and it's appealing because they're young and they want things to be like that.
Yeah, I feel you too. I'm born in California, and this was a awesome state. And Democrats have destroyed it a lot. And for anybody to sit there and say that Democratic ways and the way that they run things hasn't, that's a complete lie. I do have 2 kids too, and you just try to, by the grace of God, just try to give them a good head on the shoulder, before they go out into the real world. And you just hope that, no one tries to persuade them or make them think differently, and just to be strong. So I thank you, and I just truly believe if Trump does not make it in 2020, we're in some really, really, really big trouble. So thanks for taking my call, and I appreciate you.
Well, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. All right, calling on line 27. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, this is Jamie calling from the Great White North, Canada. How you doing tonight?
Everything is great. How about yourself?
I'm in a good mood, to be honest with you. I'm pretty pumped from that Trump rally. But I got to say, I've done all your callers a favor, and I've been watching CNN for the last 20 minutes. So I can't talk too long. I'm going to need a shower after this. But I was watching CNN just to see what their take was on the rally. And they're sending out conflicting messages. So for one, they're talking about how irresponsible it was for Trump to put a rally on during the scandemic. And at the same time, they were showing images of the rally and how poorly attended it was. So I'm thinking, okay, guys, get your story straight. Are you're okay with the rally, or the rally was poorly attended? What's going on?
Right, exactly.
And they're trying to put a negative spin on this rally. I'm not like gung ho Trump, but I'm watching this rally. I'm watching what he's saying, and I'm like, this guy, he seems legit. Everything he's saying sounds pretty legit to me. He's hitting facts. Everything he says is backed up by statistics. And CNN is sitting here struggling to figure out a way to put a negative spin on this. And the only thing they could come up with is how irresponsible it was for him to put a rally on in a pandemic.
Right, yeah. That's what they do, though. I mean, you can't expect anything other than that. They'll praise all these, the Black Lives Matter, the Antifa, all of them, being together 20, 25,000 deep, destroying things at that, being violent. Not only, being basically elbow to elbow during the so-called pandemic, but also being violent. They'll make excuses for that, and they'll say it's a good thing and this is a movement. But then when Trump has a rally, a political rally, where there's no destruction going on, it's irresponsible, you shouldn't be doing it. It's, it's always interesting to see how these things are covered, but I'm never really surprised.
Oh, that's exactly what I was going to say. When these these so-called protests were going on, CNN couldn't get behind them more feverishly. They thought it was the best thing in the world. How this is a great show of democracy at work. Nobody was saying social distance. Nobody was worried. Nobody even mentioned COVID. It's all of a sudden it didn't exist. Now Trump starts to get back in the game, do a rally. All of a sudden, everybody's saying COVID, and they're worried about what Trump's doing. I think the reason why they're worried and they're complaining about what Trump's doing is because they know very well that sleepy Joe Biden, if he put a rally on, he couldn't get 20 people to show up to his rallies. Because this guy, you know, if I'm having trouble sleeping, I just throw on a Joe Biden speech and I'm fast asleep.
That's right.
Because this guy is the most uncompelling guy. Policies aside, just his presence is completely uncompelling.
I agree with you 100%. Absolutely, man. Well, thank you for the call. I'm sorry, but thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
No problem, ABL. I'm going to go have a shower now because I've been watching CNN for the last half hour. I got to watch whatever this is often.
I hear you.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Yeah, I don't blame him. Got to get in the shower because you feel super dirty after watching that CNN. Yeah, that's a hard one to do. So thank you all for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. The number to call for 34658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. The number is always in the description box, and also sometimes in the ticker whenever it comes along, right below me in that little red box. And super chats, I will read super chats at the end. I'll be ending in about 20 minutes. So after I end the calls in about 20 minutes, I'll read super chats. So I don't care if it's 1,000 of them, I'm gonna read all of them because that's what I say I'm gonna do. Man, I'm my word. Let's get to the next call. All right, call you online, 427. Who am I speaking to?
Hi.
Hello. How are you? Who am I speaking to?
I'm great. My name is Pam.
All righty. What's going on?
Well, actually, I'm just calling because I'm pretty worried about what is going on with the police department. And I can tell you something. If they don't fix that, we're going to see the biggest flu shot in whole America. I can tell you.
Yeah, it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, it's going to be a problem. And I'm telling you because I was a cop. So I know.
Okay.
Basically, they're making like a big mistake right now because if they defund the police, how they are waiting, I mean, that they have like training, that they can be like better cops. I mean, that doesn't make sense at all, you know? And how you try to just get over from every single police department, those guys have, the self-esteem, it's in the floor. And actually, the only one who is backing police department is the president and the vice president. And it's pretty sad that everything is happening like that. Because, I mean...
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I agree because, the police are human beings at the end of the day. They're not robots. They're not RoboCop. These are actual people, and they got to feel like they're supported. They have to have, people that have their back, not just for how they feel going out there every day, but also because they got to be safe. They can't go out there in an unsafe situation where you don't have anybody to back them up, where nobody's on their side, and for doing their job to get locked up. It's like, why would I go out here and do this job if my job is now illegal to do? I'll just stay home or I'll quit. I'll walk away. So, and when that happens, the people those that want to so-called defund the police are purporting themselves to help are going to be in even more danger. I mean, we see that all over the country. In Chicago, where they had all the police get diverted to the so-called peaceful protesters rather than being where they need to be, which is in the dangerous communities. You had the most deaths in the 18-hour period in their history. So that's going to be the result every day if you defund the police.
I mean, I can tell you because I retired from the police department. I work as an agent for 13 years. I'm Puerto Rican. But when you are a cop in Puerto Rico, you have to take 2 oaths. You have to take the oath for Puerto Rico and for the United States. Now I'm living in the States. And I have like a few friends of mine, they're sheriffs. And I can tell because I used to work in the tactic unit. So we were the ones who had to take control over the riots, all that is happening right now, and it's just driving me nuts. I used to work in special operations, too in drug and narcotics, so I can tell you how you have to work as a police officer. And they are gonna, I know that when we take an oath, we do it because we want to help. Let me explain you why. When I decided to be a cop, one of the big reasons, it was because my dad, he was an alcoholic and he was a crack addict. So for me, it was something personal because I don't want to see anybody like child, a youngster, living the type of life that I have to live. So when you go in the police department, you have a lot of people that they love to help. What happened with this cop in Atlanta, and now the major is just crying, basically for they coming back to work. How the hell you're waiting that they do that? The cop from Atlanta, he just defended himself. It was completely fine what he did. I was watching the crappy press conference from the attorney district, and I was like, how he dared to say in front of the media, of the reporters, that guy wasn't resisting the arrest. I was blowing up. And I was like, God, if the president doesn't win this election, we're going to be so frightened, okay?
I agree. I agree. Well, thank you for your call. I got a small amount of time. Yeah. That was a great call. Thank you for your call.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Great call. Yeah, she's right on point. Shout out to all the Puerto Ricans out there, all the Latinos, all the Americans, everybody. Well, Puerto Ricans are Americans. I'm just saying. Everybody on the 48 continental, Puerto Rico, all the territories, everybody. Shout out to everybody. How about that? Let me get to the next call. 661, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? 661.
Hello?
Yes, who am I speaking to? Go for it.
So my question was, how do you as a black conservative feel about how all of this is unraveling? Because I live out here in California, and everything that I'm hearing is from a liberal standpoint. So I also want to see like another side of the whole thing that is going on. I'm a teen, by the way, so I don't really know too much, and I can't trust the news.
Okay, so like, can you ask me like a more specific question so I can give you a more direct answer?
Yeah. Well, basically what I'm asking is, how do you as a black conservative feel about how white people are being treated at this moment? Because although, yes, in the past, black people have been treated badly, right now, at least where I live, a lot of white people are being mistreated. So I just wanted to hear, the other side.
Okay, really what's going on is that there's no issue with racism against blacks. The issue with blacks is blacks themselves. That's the problem. It's not white people. We're not worried about white people because we don't really interact with them on an everyday basis. Like, most of us grew up in black areas where there's somebody white around. And, a lot of times it's black cops. Some might be white cops, but we're not dealing with white people every day. We're dealing with ourselves every day. And our problems come from dealing with each other. And white people are really being kind of bullied because they can't say anything or do anything. That's the main thing. If they want to go on their Facebook page and say that all lives matter, they might get fired from their job. Then it's kind of like if they just kind of get caught out in the street, people think they can just punch on them or do something to them because they're white, and they feel like it won't be any kind of consequence for doing that to them, versus the other way around. If you're a white person, you do something to a black person, you're talking about a potential hate crime, your life is ruined. It doesn't even matter if you did something to defend yourself or not, because it's automatically going to be assumed that you're a racist and that you're wrong for doing anything, even if it's to defend yourself. So there's no issue with racism against blacks. If anything, the issue is against whites from blacks as far as any kind of racist thing.
Yeah. Well, the reason I'm asking you this is because, like, my area, it's the majority of people that live here are black, or Mexican, because I'm in Southern California. You don't really see too much white people around. But then also there's this, I don't know if you heard the black man that was found dead in Palmdale, California.
Yeah.
People were saying that the KKK killed him or whatever, but I'm not sure. I just wanted to know, like, because
okay,
no one trusts the police out here.
Now, it's the easy way to figure out if he got lynched or if he killed himself. If you examine his body and there's no signs of struggle, he killed himself. You know, people think that suicide is not a thing in the black community. People are way too late. You know, like, that's been a thing in the black community for a long time. It was, I think, some years ago, suicide among black males had increased by 100%. Matter of fact, pardon me, it was increased to 200% in suicide in black males. It's on the rise right now. And then you got the virus, people losing their jobs, you know, people going to jail for child support, all kind of things. They might feel kind of trapped. And then they commit suicide. Like, it's hard to lift a person up or to get them on the rope and do all that kind of stuff. You got to have a whole mob of people. So if you're in Los Angeles in the middle of, you know, the area with a whole mob of people with like 5, 6, 7, 8 white guys trying to drag this guy that's kicking and screaming and lynch him, you're going to notice that. And you will see marks on his body that would indicate a fight or a struggle. But in all the cases of people being hung or hanging themselves, really, you don't see any kind of struggle, which does not make any sense for somebody to be lynched. Lynching is not a common thing. Suicide is, unfortunately, though.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for clearing it all up.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, because people are being found like hanging themselves from trees. I don't know. It might be something popular, something that's going on. People are being hung, like they're hanging themselves from trees. This was going on. And they think, because they're hanging from a tree or maybe a lamp pole or something like that, then that means that they were hung, like they were lynched by the KKK. That's not going on. And if they were lynched, you would see, like I said, signs of a struggle, because you don't want to get lynched, do you? You're going to be trying to fight and kick and scream, all kind of stuff. But that's not what's happening. These people are hanging themselves because they're committing suicide. That's not uncommon. It's actually more common, like in Japan. They got a whole suicide forest over there. I think that's where Logan Paul went to, and he was like filming dead bodies. He was a nut for doing that. But there's a whole forest where they go and they hang themselves from trees. All right, let's get back to the calls. All right, call you on the line, 319. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, this is Jacob again. How's it going, man?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
That's good. So I was just calling because the news, it is what it is, right? So I just don't think it's fair that they can label themselves as a news source and openly put out lies to the American people. It's like they're brainwashing them. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, at a certain point, some of these so-called news outlets have long since stopped being news outlets. They're just kind of like entertainment. Like a CNN, they're basically the equivalent to what TMZ was when they first started. TMZ at this point is a more credible news source than CNN, which is crazy because TMZ, when they started, was like a rag. It was like kind of like a gossip blog. But now they're actual legitimate news source. They've broken real news like Michael Jackson dying, Kobe Bryant dying, all kind of stuff. CNN at this point is all about just trying to get ratings. There's been undercover tapes with the CEO, Jeff Zucker, and all he does is just say, look, we're trying to get numbers, we're trying to get we're trying to get money. That's all that it is. It's not really about news, and it's really unfortunate.
For sure. Yeah, I was just curious about that because it pains me seeing my fellow Americans just be brainwashed and then say Trump's a racist when, like he said in the rally tonight, he's done more for black Americans in the past 3 years than Biden has in the past 44, 47 or whatever it was, and then people will still call him a racist and vote for Joe Biden. It's just crazy to me. But yeah, that was really all. But you have a good night, ABL. Take care, man.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yep. Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. And I'm looking at Twitter right now. Jack Posobiec is saying that the protesters won't let the National Guard bus leave. I'm gonna play that right quick. Let me see if I can play it without busting my eardrums. Hold on 1 second. Let me just put it on the screen. There we are. And if there's any cursing, it's not my fault. I didn't do it. Hold on.
Are you gonna open fire on us?
So now they're out there. So now the protesters are swarming the Tulsa police. So, okay, it was a peaceful rally on the inside. All the Trump supporters were chilling. Everything was fine. And here comes the protesters wanting to fight. So we see who the people that are good are and the ones that aren't are. Let's get back to the calls. 480, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Mike out here in Phoenix, Arizona.
All righty, Mike. What's going on?
Listen, I'm a 53-year-old white male out here in Phoenix working for, I don't want to say the name of the company, but it's we make parts for Tesla. So we have a very large cafeteria in there. And to talk about the Black Lives Matter real quick, I don't want to take too much of your time, but listen, before the Black Lives Matter rally and what have you, all races at this cafeteria at work, we all got along just fine. I mean, everything was beautiful. Occasionally we would have, a little bit of tiffs here and there, but everybody was pretty much all together on everything. But now that the Black Lives Matter movement has started, I can tell you this, with 100 employees, I would say everybody's in their own little groups now. You got the white group, you got the Vietnamese group, you got the black groups, and you got your Mexican groups. And the tensions are so high at this at our cafeteria at work now that our production has gotten lower. And even our manager, he will not confront the, because Matt's fired all the time. Our white managers and supervisors will not confront the black employees about face mask violations, but he will suspend and he will reprimand the white and Vietnamese and Mexicans for not wearing face masks when they're supposed to inside the shop. And I think that's a tragedy. But getting to the Trump rally tonight, I love the Trump rally. I wouldn't have watched it because I know, pretty much everything Trump's going to say, but I only watch it to see him call out the fake news media. That's the only reason I watch it. But I'm a Trump supporter. I'm a supporter of you. I love your show. And that's all I have to say tonight.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Take it easy. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you. Yeah, that's crazy. So you have so much tension over race that people are being racist to actually try to not be racist. Is that what's going on? I guess so. Let's get to the next call. 562, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL is dope.
All right, man. What's going on? You kind of low. Can you speak up a little bit?
Okay, yeah. But how about now?
All right, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Hey, first of all, I wanted to say thanks for everything you're doing. You're doing God's work, and you're like really one of my shows, just putting it down right now.
Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So what I wanted to ask, and I don't know where you came from, but I grew up in L.A. I grew up in Long Beach, in and around Compton, and it seems to me that this day that's going on, when people come out and say anything, and they attack you relentlessly, and even though you apologize, it seems like it's nothing, to their liking. It's the same thing that goes on in the streets here, like if you get somebody that comes up and sweats you and say, hey, man, where you from? And in reality, it doesn't matter what you say because they're looking for trouble.
Right.
You could say, hey, I don't bang, I don't do nothing, but it always seems like they're always picking on the lowest hanging fruit. And right now, it seems like anybody that just seems to kind of have like a disagreement or whatever, they pick on these dudes, and then everything is ruined. It seems like you're on the street, somebody asks you, you bang, like, no. And then they turn around and bang you on anyway. And it's a shame because I'm starting to see the correlations between what used to go on in the street and how it's playing in the politics. And I don't know, I'm just asking to see maybe if you see the same thing or not.
Yeah, I do see a lot of that. I guess you call that like tribalism. I see a lot of that going on. And it's really crazy that it's happening because you would think that's kind of like street behavior and they wouldn't really escape that. But I mean, a lot of the things that go on the street happen in general society just in different ways. And I feel like the way it's going on right now, people are given license to be more violent by the people that raised them, academia, education, wherever they live. They're given license to be violent. So then a lot of that street stuff kind of seeps into what should be just regular everyday life.
Mm-hmm. And one more quick thing, and I don't know if everybody's actually, kind of looked into the background of Karl Marx and things like that, but I heard one of the co-founders just not too long ago came out and said, I'm an avowed Marxist or whatnot. And, from what I found, Karl Marx is kind of a religious guy, and then all of a sudden he flipped. And it wasn't so much that he was like an atheist, but now he's like an anti-theist. You know what I mean? He comes out and saying, I'm going to do this against God, kind of like the five wills, that Satan came out. And do you think that there's a spiritual correlation to what's going on in Marxism and what's going on today in our political climate?
Wow, that's a deep question. I think that it could be. You can definitely drop some correlation there. So I think you wanted something, but that right there, that could be a whole different video in itself. I can get deep into that one and really explore it. So I think you're right about that.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks a lot, ABL, man. God bless.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. I got time for one last call and then super chats. I'm going to read super chats. So I know you guys have been donating. Thank you all for doing that. Definitely appreciate you. So let's get one last call. 215, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Yes, 215. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Kaylee.
All righty. What's going on?
Hey, I was just wondering, I don't know what's going on. With everything going on in the world, I was just wondering, how does one start getting all the proper information? What would you suggest? Like, especially someone who thinks they're not political that much, but maybe leaning toward being a conservative? What would you suggest?
Well, I would just say, listen to everything. You got a lot of podcasts, a lot of YouTubers, and also read everything. Now, do you want specific sources or do you just want to know how to go about it?
Well, I've been listening to Brandon Tatum, Jericho Green, Candace Owens, but I was wondering, like, where do all of you get your information? What do you guys look up and that kind of thing?
Okay, now, as far as me, I read all day. Like, most of my day is spent reading. So what I do, there's a news story that's going on. I first check social media. Social media first because I feel like a lot of times you can get information that is not going to be in the mainstream media from just random people that may live in the area locally that kind of might know what's going on. But I also read local, like TV stations. I read what they post on their websites, and I may watch their local news because you're going to get less spin from local media versus if you go to CNN or Fox, you're going to get the corporate spin to make money to, turn and burn to get ads. But local news ain't really like that. Local news is more about factual, what's really going on. And then I watch some of the big stuff, or I read some of the big stuff. I'll read CNN, I'll read Fox, I'll read MSNBC, I read everything. And then at a certain point, you can look at a MSNBC and kind of realize that it's not really right all the way. But there could be some facts that are the same in the Fox story or the Breitbart story or the Zero Hedge story or Patriot Post. There's a lot of different sources you can actually look at. I don't read any of the paid sites like Washington Post, New York Times, because I don't want to pay. I read mostly local news sources, and I read TV stations that have online portions, because on a TV station, the online portion will be what they report on just without sensationalism a lot of times. Once it gets to TV, like Don Lemon or whatever, primetime, they're going to put their spin on it from their own personal feelings. But once you read it, you can read it and just take the facts from it without the spin, if that makes any sense.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I've been watching you off and on for a couple years now, and I just really, really enjoy watching you. Thank you so very much for what you do.
Well, thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you and your support.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Oh, I'm sorry, I hung up on her. Shout out to the caller. I appreciate her. All right. That's a wrap for the call. Thank y'all for joining. But now, here come the super chats. I'm going to read all the super chats that you guys send in. So don't go nowhere. You might as well just stay there. Hey, grab your stickers because it's going to be a minute. Thank y'all for donating to Super Chat, through PayPal, Patreon, Cash App. And shout out to everybody that's bought merch. I have hats right here. You can go to ablmerch.com. You can get my hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, and more. And also, I have the flags that are right behind me. You can buy those through the link in the description box. Check them on out. Alrighty, hold on. Do I have the link in there? It should be in there. I just want to make sure I got it. So everything's good to go. Yep, it's there. All right, cool. Super chats on deck, and then we're going to get to it. Okay. Let's go to the very first one. Thank you to Jason Edward, who says, thanks. Thank you for your donation. Thank you to Yogi Fish, who says, November can't get here soon enough. Trump 2020, right on point, boss. Thank you for that. Thank you to Amanda Kavanaugh for your donation. Thank you to Binico, who says, defend police. Yes, defend police, not defund police. 100%. Shout out to His Gays Incorporated, who says, became a member of the ABL squad. Thank you for that. Shout out to Hillbilly Hart, who says a group tried to set up an autonomous zone in Nashville. Also, so far, Governor Lee has squashed all attempts. Shout out to my main man, Governor Bill Lee. I met him when he was running, and I was like, hey, man, I just moved here. You'll be my first election that I voted for, and I'm voting for you, man, and you're going to win. And he did. So shout out to my man, Bill Lee. All right. Shout out to Cal YE, Mr. Socks, for becoming an ABL supporter. Thank you to Michael Lowe, who says Trump needs to stay out of Chaz chop. Never interrupt your opponents when they're making a mistake. There you go. Good point. Shout out to Cali, Mr. Socks, who says, you should have Jared Taylor on as a guest. By the way, huge fan. I wish the best for you and your channel. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Mandatory Carrier, who says, so Chaz finally had their mass shooting, eh? Exactly. You had 2 people that get shot. So how many, were actually grazed or ducking bullets or whatever? And 1 guy died. Thank you to New Way Bossa Nova, who says, with the 1-up donation, super chat, thank you for that. Thank you to Callum, who says, Terrence K. Williams just posted a video to his Twitter and his stadium was packed and media is lying. Yeah. The media will just try to downplay it because they don't want Trump to get any kind of, they don't want him to be successful at all. So they downplay whatever he does. Thank you to Hector Vasquez for your donation with the dollar emoji smiling. Thank you to Anthony M, who says, thanks, thank you. Thank you to Matthew Smith, who says, thumbs up, ABL. Thank you for your donation. Thank you to Flick Story Entertainment, who says, in a letter from Patrick Claiborne to Confederate commanders, he says slavery is not the only reason for the Civil War. Wise facts overlooked. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I keep saying it. If slavery was the only thing that the Civil War was fought over, then the North wouldn't have had slaves all throughout the war. Or the border states, look, they were in a union. Okay, West Virginia seceded into the Union with slaves during the war, and they were allowed to. So slavery was not the only issue. Yes, it was an issue, but not the only issue. Thank you to Barefoot Arizona for your donation, says ABL. Thank you to Chad Mackey, who says the VA got vastly better when Trump took office. I'm glad to hear that because I've been hearing horror stories about the VA. Coming from Virginia, military area, I didn't heard horror stories. Thank you to Artrian for becoming an ABL supporter. Thank you to, I cannot read that, I think it's in Hebrew, who says, thanks for streaming this. No problem. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to Bridget Sessoms, who said, thank you for being you with the emoji. No problem. Thank you to Oof, who became an ABL supporter. Thank you to Big Al, who says, BLM is about getting even, quote unquote, and not equality. Very good point. 1,000 IQ point. Thank you to Aunt Jemima, who says, thanks for streaming this, ABL. Ain't no problem. Thank you for being an iconic figure on foodstuffs. Thank you to Sir Nasty, who says, we are together. There you go. Shout out to the synagogue, who says, do nothing to Chaz, but charge Bundy again. Coward. Who charged Bundy? Thank you to His Gays Incorporated, who says, you gotta love we I. Thank you to Way to Go, who says, the Superman emoji. Thank you to Adam Bull, who says, go next time. Thank you to 2Q for the 1-up emoji, or 2020 with 2Q. Thank you to the Hebrew letters again. I cannot read that. I'm sorry, boss. Who says, keep America great. Trump will ensure equality. Trump is uniting America while liberals destroy. Liberals should try living in North Korea for one day. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Kara Palmer for the super chat that says you are amazing. Thank you for your very kind words and your donation in the super chat. Thank you to Sir Nasty, who says, imagine Biden, Clinton, or Obama doing this. No way. Oh, look, Biden cannot be up there for 5 minutes like the way Trump was. I can't even do that. Like, this man was on fire tonight. Trump, 2-hour speech, just, tearing it to pieces. Thank you to Pazazzi Morano, who says, "You are the man." Thank you for that. Most certainly appreciate you. Thank you to James Burlow, who says, "He is great. He talks like he is talking to you individually." Yes, exactly. That down home type thing. Shout out to MA, who says, "You are amazing. Thanks for what you do. Trump is killing it." Yes, he is killing it. Thank you for your donation. Thank you to Big Bong Theories, who says, "The tie is never the same." Yeah, that's when he was saying that if you drop water on it, it get it messed up. Shout out to Video Chimp, who says, "Thanks, ABL. Glad I found your channel. One of my favorites now. I appreciate you for your donation and your very kind words." Thank you to Diana M, who says, "Don't send them to jail. Make them serve in the military. Allow them to see exactly what it represents." Exactly. Thank you to His Gates Incorporated, who says, hold on, "Desecrating our flag is like killing a soldier." Just saying. Wow, that's deep. Thank you to 6,000 pounds, who says, just in the super chat, thank you to 2020 2Q, who says, "Be informed." Absolutely. Thank you to Brian Stevenson, who says, "Love you, ABL. Thank you for your donation, boss. Definitely appreciate you and for your very kind words." Thank you to Marina B, who says, hold on, lost my place. "Love your channel. You are awesome." Thank you for that. Thank you to the Gore 54 Miller, who says, "Right on, ABL." Shout out to Irish Gunpowder 1, who says, "Appreciate your time and your channel, sir. Keep it going. Will do. Can't do nothing else." Thank you to Crush Groovin, who says, "Thanks at True Helper. Keep rocking it, ABL." ABEL. ABL. Thank you for that. Thank you to Chris M for the donation. Thank you to New Wave Bossa Nova for the 1-up donation. Thank you to Dana Carroll for your donation. Thank you to His Gates Incorporated, who says, "You went from 200 to 5K in less than 1 year, bro. Hey, it's all good, man. Thank you for that." Shout out to Carol's daughter, 85, who says, "Watching from UK. Wish I could vote for Trump." Heart emoji with a bunch of emojis. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Hey, I'm glad you guys can recognize what's happening over here and you support us. Thank you. Thank you to Pamela Hatfield for your donation. It says, "Great channel." Thank you to Scott Estes, who says, Estes or Estes, I don't want to say it wrong, who says, "Thank you for streaming. Stop to Dim Panic. Thanks to my buddy Zed for the Dim Panic." Yeah, that's a good one right there, Dim Panic. Rather than Plandemic or Pandemic, Dim Panic. Thank you to Birds Nation 302 for your donation. Thank you to Plumber Works, who says, "You are the best." Thank you to Tavares Wilson, who says, "President Trump is on point, on fire, and best of all, getting on the Dems' last nerve." That's right, getting on their nerves for real. Thank you to Prescott S for the donation that says, "Jesus 2020. Thank you to Awake in Tulsa, who says, "I grew up in Tulsa. They changed Brady Street to Reconciliation Way. Why do so many still not want real reconciliation? Greenwood is great. BOK is great. I love my city." Thank you, ABL. Thank you for that. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Boo Vudon, who says, "Mama say, Mama sama makusa." Okay, thank you for that. Shout out to Willoughby 13, who says, "The slave owner party will #replace Biden. Trump is going to destroy him." There it is. Shout out to Self, who says, "The debates may get ugly, but the press will work their butts off to make it look like Creepy Joe Biden debates." They're going to try, but at a certain point, it's like, how can you really disguise what you see? If you see a fire rage right in front of your eyes, like I'm talking about raging, just like the guy that was saying, "Oh, everything is fine, nothing to see here. It's a calm little protest," but right behind them, it was a big fire raging. How can you really ignore this big dumpster fire behind you and say that it's not burning? You may try to do it, but I got eyes I can see. I'm like, yo, I can see the fire, I can hear the fire, I can hear the embers crackling. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to Joy and Wright for the donation. Let's keep it up with the emoji. Definitely appreciate you for that. Thank you to Bobby Digital, who says, "Keep it up, will do, can't do nothing else." Shout out to B. Anderson, who says, "A man, the AOC and Omar." Yeah. Talking about AOC and Elon Omar. Shout out to Elon Omar. That's your new name now. Ain't no more Ilhan. Your name is Elon, like Elon Musk. Thank you to Lee Crow, who says, "The rat and dance was clearly down, but I'm just attributing that to some folks being scared of the attendance." He said rat and dance. The attendance is clearly down, but I'm attributing to that some folks being scared of the protesters and COVID. Trump all out. They'll be back 100%. Thank you for that. Shout out to Hake, who says, "But don't look pat to me." Yeah, it was. It just wasn't 100% like all the way to the brim. That's all. They're gonna talk about that, but then they're gonna talk about Joe Biden having people sitting on the ground in a high school gym It was crazy. This man was sitting under, like it was in the gym, right? You know, basketball court. This man was sitting under the net, right? And people were sitting way far out at the half court line, and it was only like 5 people there. It was like, why even be in here? Why be here? What's the point? Just go home and you can attract more people live. It might only be 100 people live, but good grief, it'd be more than 5 people. And you got this crazy picture taken. It looks ridiculous. That was, I mean, I've seen some crazy things in my day, but that right there was the worst. Thank you for the donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Let Freedom Ring America, who says, I'd be curious to see the TV and online viewer numbers. I know the channel I was watching had the highest viewership since the last election. I was reading Twitter, and I think it might have been Ryan Fournier or Jack Posobiec was saying that there was 1 million watching on YouTube by itself. That's not including TV. That's not including TV. That's not including Twitter. That's not including Facebook. That's not including TikTok or anywhere else or Twitch. 1 million on YouTube alone. And it probably was more than that. Thank you to see Chris Grooven, who says, keep calls clean all day long. Thank you to Willoughby13, who says, I counted the lives I could find. At least 0.55 million people were watching at YouTube. This is crazy and good. So about 500,000. Shout out to Dan Fan, who says, how can we help the Atlanta officer? Also, who can punish the DA and their unjust sentence? I think there might be a fund for him. I'm going to try to find that. If I can find it, I'll put it in the community tab on my YouTube channel. You know, where I just post things like a picture or some text. I'll put it right there in the community tab of the section of my channel if I can find it. Shout out to Shannon Marie, who says, hey, ABL, I'm afraid that extremists on both sides are being created every day. Is there anything we can do? On our side, we feel patriotic over a Trump rally, but on the other side, they won't even listen. Is Civil War II inevitable? There won't be a war. Anybody really trying to do that? People are just kind of comfortable with the Netflix and the popcorn and the hot dogs and the hamburgers. Anybody going to try to fight for real? I think it'd be more of an ideological type of thing, but not a real actual war. All we can do is just raise our kids right and do right ourselves and spread the word to whoever's going to listen. That's it. That's all we can do. Nothing else. And vote properly as well, and encourage others to vote properly too. Thank you to Jeff Long, who says, I would be excited to get a good YouTube gaff. Shout out to, let me see, Tammy Thibault for your donation. Shout out to Nippon, who says, the irony about Pelosi removing the 4 paintings of the former House speakers, all 4 of them were registered Democrats. Of course, they're all Democrats. I mean, there was no Republican speakers of the House, as far as I know, not before the war, because they didn't even, like, they became a party in 1854. So they just started right before the war started. Like, not even 10 years before the war, the Republican Party had just started. Thank you to Stacy Felice, who says, Professor ABL, you're awesome, and we all learn from you, plus Trump forever. Biden for president of the political discussion group at the home 2020. Exactly. Thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you to 8 Gorilla, who says, capitalism, all people are unequally wealthy. Socialism, all people are equally poor. Exactly. Very good point. Thank you to Cosmic Squirrel, who says, I've noticed many Asian women leading and inciting violence. I think this is part of the problem. They are anti-life, so the bitterness is deep. Oh, that's deep. That's real deep, right? That cut like a knife right there. Thank you for that. Thank you to Stephen H., who says, ABL, I'm a big fan of your channel. Just want to say thanks and God bless. God bless you as well. Thank you for your donation. Dave S. says, God bless the police. Absolutely. Thank you for that. God bless the police. Thank you to Decatur. Hopefully I didn't butcher your name. Who says, a suggestion, you should do a show with BCP, Black Conservative Patriot, sometime. Hey, I'd love to do it. Matter of fact, we got to get BCP on the show with Brandon Tatum, myself, and Derek Gradanego. That'd be epic right there. So shout out to you for your donation. Thank you to Michael S., who says, thank you for all your hard work. God bless. Thank you for that. Shout out to Stacey Satterfield, who says, God bless you, ABL. Blue Lives Matter all day long. Yes, they do. Thank you to Mitch Morris, who says, ABL, thanks for doing what you're doing. No problem. Thank you for your donation. Thank you to Shannon Marie, who says, I will second that. God bless the police. Absolutely. Thank you to Shalonda Tamikia, who says, hi, ABL. Did you hear about Google censoring right-leaning journalism? Do you think it will hurt Trump's campaign? Do you know if the GOP addressed this? Now, yeah, I did hear about that. What happened was some random think tank in UK, if I'm not mistaken, they basically snitched to Google talking about the comment section, not the content, the comment section of, I think it might have been Zero Hedge and the Federalist. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But it was 2 right-leaning websites. I know Federalist was one. It might have also been Zero Hedge. But the comment section apparently was too toxic on, I might have been like Black Lives Matter articles or just in general. So as a result of that, Google was like, okay, you guys have violated our terms of service. Therefore, we're going to kick you off of the ad program. So they're not necessarily being censored, but at the same time they are, because if they can't get ads served to them and Google dominates the ad market, even if you, like this is what I know from dealing with this, because on my website I have ads, right? I don't really make money on my website. All it does really just pay for the hosting. It's not a money maker, really. It's just kind of, it's just for y'all, really. But anyway, and for me to be able to write articles. But Google has like the overwhelming majority of the ad market. I have 2 ad companies I signed up with. I'm on AdSense with ads on my website. Also, I'm on Media.net. Media.net is from Microsoft and Bing. But even on Media.net, they'll serve you Google ads. So you could sign up through Microsoft and Bing, but they still serve Google. You see what I'm saying? So Google dominates all ads. So if you can't get Google ads, you're not going to make money for the most part. You know, you might be able to make some money from affiliate, but that's where your money is coming from, is Google ads. So they're not necessarily being censored directly, but indirectly, if that makes any sense. So Zero Hedge and the Federalist, correct. Okay. But yeah, that's what it was. So that's kind of crazy because comment sections, I mean, I think they might end up fixing that. They might end up reversing course on that one, but we'll see. We'll definitely see. Thank you to Chris Romero for your donation and said keep it up. Most certainly will do. Thank you to Carl Schneider, who says great show as always. Keep up the great work. We appreciate you. Thank you for your very kind words and your donation. Thank you to JNNG, who says thank you with the emoji and the bow. No problem. Thank you for that. Thank you to Caitlin Robinson, who says hi. Hey ABL, join Parlor down with Twitter. Thank you for that. Thank you to James Burlow, who says ABL the press is responsible for the innocent people's deaths. I'm right there with you. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you on that. Shout out to, let me see, Lauren Nicole, who says keep it up. Will do. Most certainly appreciate you. Thank you to True Star for your donation. Thank you to Mario Perez, who keep it up as well. Thank you to True Star, who says, hold on, I lost my place right quick. Let me get back to where I was. True Star. All right. True Star says, what's your thoughts on what Trump said about Brazil, Sweden, and herd immunity? I believe numbers reported are false. Virus not serious, as CDC says. I believe Trump knows. Hope he's just playing along. I said that during the actual speech, I think herd immunity was good for Sweden. The numbers spiked above neighboring Norway, but Sweden has bigger population than Norway, and also it was not that much bigger, and plus their economy is still intact. So I think herd immunity does work. And if it doesn't work, then I can't tell. You got all these rallies back to back. Not rallies, but so-called protests. You know, insurrections with 20, 25,000 people in one area. And talking about it's a big spike in cases, but not a big spike in deaths. So what's really going on? I mean, you guys tell me what's happening. I don't really know. How can you have in New York, where the epicenter of the virus was, these big, crazy mass gatherings of people, elbow to elbow, all they're doing is wearing the mask, but it's not a big spike in the deaths? You tell me what's going on. Maybe it's the mask working. Maybe it's herd immunity. Something's working that did not work before, or that we did not anticipate working before. Thank you to Sean Jones, who says, ABL, Butatum, Candace, all good sources for media info. Thanks for your work, sir. Ain't no problem, man. Thank you for your donation and your support. Shout out to Mr. Tix, who says, how do we talk to friends, family members, etc., to open their eyes to see what is really going on in our country? I feel like there is a lot more people that could be doing that, but don't know the approach without damaging relationship. It's hard to do that, man, because if people are not open to you, if they don't really want to hear what you're saying, they're not going to hear you. So at a certain point, it kind of becomes unnecessary. It's not a thing you really want to get into if you don't have a person that's open. Okay, I think Brandon Tatum said a good thing. He was like, you could just plant little seeds. Don't try to aggressively water it or force it to grow like, Farmville on Facebook like they're trying to do in Chaz. But anyway, don't try to be aggressive. Just plant a seed. You be like, hey, man, stop working crazy right now. I'm getting crazy returns on my 401k. Little things like that. Don't go into it talking about Trump 2020. Hey, you know what? My 401k is crazy right now. Stock market on my investments, on my portfolio, through the roof right now. Little things like that, and just leave it. Little seed here and there. Maybe you get them to come around. Maybe that tree in their mind will grow. Maybe it won't though. But don't be aggressive. Now, if they are open to you and asking questions, just be calm, relax, and chill. Go about it that way. But do not be aggressive. All you're gonna get is a fight. That's it. Especially with adults. Don't do it. Shout out to C. Perry, who says, hey, do you think that they're trying to make a U.S. version of what's going on in South Africa? This worries me because even though I'm black, my son is blonde hair and blue eye. I don't want him going through this madness. I don't think so. South Africa, a whole different situation. Limited law and order there. I think we have some safeguards against this. Because if you do that, you're going to the penitentiary for the most part. So we have some safeguards against that. But I think there is a lot of racial tension against whites from blacks, unfortunately. And that does result in more violence happening. All I can say to that is people should arm themselves and protect themselves and leave it right there. Thank you to Bucolic Buffalo, who says, thank you. Support for you, sir. Keeping it up, ABL. Thanks. No problem, man. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to Thomas Cabo 74, who says, I cannot pronounce that. Ilo, Philippines. Hopefully I said that right. Will my absentee ballot for Trump actually matter? I've been watching my country fall apart from afar. It's been disheartening. Keep up the good work. God bless USA. I think it will. Don't get disheartened. Don't get discouraged. It's going to be hard. This whole thing, trying to reconfigure this whole system and get out of the swamp is not going to be an easy task. You got to fight a few battles, but I think we'll be able to do it. Don't lose faith. Don't lose the sight. Don't lose sight of the end goal of the destination. Thank you to Crush Groover, who says, love your super chatters. YouTube ABEL. Thank you for that. Most certainly appreciate you. Thank you to Patty's Pub. Thank you to Dennis Qualls. Shout out to John Call for becoming an ABL squad member. Thank you to David Guy, who says, as a white person, I'm labeled racist for supporting police and speaking against the narrative. Even my friends are turning on me and it feels terrible. I understand. I can't say I understand exactly how you feel about being white, but I know what it is being black and having friends turn on you, family members turn on you and all of that because you're conservative. I understand how that is. But I feel like if people turn on you and you lose them, you're going to gain more by being who you are. Don't be afraid of those that you're going to lose. That's going to happen. That's just life. You're going to lose some people. That's okay. But you're going to gain more and you're going to gain better. Like when I was conservative, when I was liberal, I had some people. I lost pretty much all of them, but I've gained more and I've gained better and I've done better on this side than I was on that side. So don't be afraid of that. That's just part of life. It's going to happen. It's like a moth, going into the cocoon or whatever, come out a butterfly or whatever it is. What's it, a caterpillar? You know what I'm talking about. You go in one way and you come out better. How about that? Shout out to the Paul Mogetic, who says, now that Chaz Chop has taken over the area of Seattle, can the former property owners claim reparations? They colonized it, didn't they? That's a really good question. Thank you for that. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to New Wave Bossa Nova, who says Columbia. Shout out to Ryan, who says they can't think Biden will win. What level of risk of them pushing the electorals to vote against the people in every blue state to force the issue? Shout out to Jake Consalandos. Hopefully I didn't butcher that. Who says top roads may be empty for security reasons. Secret Service will have an easier time monitoring higher ground for threats. Good point. Thank you for that. Shout out to Lee Crow, who says Joe Biden was probably asleep by 6:30 after his evening tapioca pudding and shout out Metamucil. Hilarious. Thank you for that. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Tear Talk, who says Tear Talk YouTube channel supports you, my brother. Also, shout out to our brave men and women working corrections. Absolutely. All day long. Thank you to Uncle Ben for the donation. I appreciate it. Thank you to JPG, who says, what do you say about joining law enforcement now? If it's me, I will hold off at least for right now, depending upon where I lived. If I lived in Atlanta, New York, I mean, I'm going to hold off. If I live in a small area, small town, I might be more willing to do it. But it's hard right now, for sure. Thank you to Brooke, who said, thank you for speaking the truth. We need more like you. Hey, it's all good. Thank you for your support. Thank you to Tear Talk, who said, shout outs for our brave men and women working corrections. Check out Tear Talk if you support correctional workers. So I guess Tear Talk, that's like correctional officers, like a podcast, like on the tier. Is that what it is? Shout out to Tear Talk. Shout out to Shannon Marie, who says, please run for public office. God bless you, ABL. Thank you for that. Most certainly appreciate you. I might have to do that. You know, people always ask me that, people ask me about that, like around here, just walking around. So I may end up doing that. Shout out to Christopher Clements, not Christopher Columbus, who says, Trump runs for office one time, becomes president. The American people are waking up. Back to blue. God bless the protectors of this great nation. ABL, I love what you do. Watch all the time. God bless. God bless you as well. Thank you for your donation. Thank you to Uncle Ben, who says, thanks for all you do. ABL, you're the best. No problem. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to LBC Shay, who says, LOL, the mayor of Seattle, a.k.a. Seattle. I said Seattle. She said Seattle. Or they said Seattle. Went from summer of love to domestic terrorist after they spray painted her house. Hilarious. Is that what happened for real? They spray her house? That's hilarious. Hilarious. Thank you to David to Goliath, who says, thank you, ABL, for standing up to the leftists who are trying to destroy our country. Hey, gotta do it. If I don't, who is? Thank you to Decada, who says, you pronounced it right. Good job. Keep up the good work. Thank you for that. Shout out to Ryan Forbes, who says, looking for support with our conservative conservation fund, a pro-conservative campaign using subversive media to counter the Marxist GoFundMe. All right, thank you for that. And shout out to Lecrae, my man, who says, if you lose friends because they can't process the truth, did you really lose? No, you did not. You just shed dead weight and you gain good people, supportive people, righteous people in your corner. All right. Shout out to everybody that super chatted. Shout out to all the PayPalers. Thank you to everybody that donated or bought some merch. You know, I got the hot merch on ablmerch.com. If you bought something from there, thank you for that. I appreciate you guys. I'll be doing more merch. I am a graphic designer. You know, that's what I did before this whole YouTube thing started getting kind of big. So I'll do some more merch, put it on the site, no problem. And also, these flags right here come from my man over at BHE Designs. They are handcrafted. It's going to be a while before you get it because it's handcrafted. He does all about, like, it's all done in America, handcrafted. It's not no Chinese cheap stuff. These are really beautiful, handcrafted wooden American flags. You're going to love them. They look great in your living room, your bedroom, your dining room, your garage, outside of your house, wherever. Okay, if you want these flags, links are in the box. If you want these hats and more, links are in the box. And that's all I got for y'all tonight. So, until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.